Trump has a lot to celebrate in the outcome of yesterday's primaries in a half dozen states. Trump-endorsed candidates fared well, including in Kentucky, where Ed Galbraith defeated incumbent Congressman Thomas Massie in the GOP primary.
I want to thank President Trump for his support, his endorsement, and his counsel as I navigated this campaign.
Massie suggests he's proud of the campaign he ran.
I have called and conceded the race. We've been honorable the whole time, and we're going to stay that way.
Less than a week after President Trump visited China, Russia's Vladimir Putin is in Beijing for talks with Chinese President Xi. The BBC's Laura Bicker in Beijing says it is a diplomatic balancing act for Xi.
It's a sign of where Beijing wants to position itself right now, beholden to no one but talking to everyone. There is no doubt there's a close alliance between Russia and China. The two leaders have met each other more than 40 times, and Russia is now far more reliant on China than ever before since the war in Ukraine. However, there's some delicate diplomacy here for Mr. Xi because he wants to maintain stable ties with the West. He still insists this country is neutral when it comes to the war in Ukraine, and yet he will not want Russia to lose. He will not want that loss to destabilize a country on his northern border.
Taiwanese President Lai says if given the chance, he'd tell President Trump that continued purchases of American arms by Taiwan are essential to maintaining peace in the region. More than 17,000 people under evacuation orders. Wildfire continues threatening suburban homes in Southern California. Stock futures higher this morning on Wall Street. The Dow futures up 29 points and NASDAQ futures 168 points higher. More on these stories, townhall.com.
If you're considering investing in precious metals, don't wait. The Iranian conflict seems to be nearing an end, and the time is now to position your retirement for massive growth. Advantage Gold is America's #1 precious metals company, and they want to send you a free gold and silver investor guide valued at $49 when you call 800-900-8000. Plus, you'll get a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. Our specialists can help you open a new account or transfer funds from an existing IRA, tax and penalty free, and show you how a gold-backed IRA can put real, tangible assets into your retirement portfolio. Markets react to news cycles, but gold has maintained its value through inflation, volatility, and economic uncertainty. When the purchasing power of the dollar declines, that's when investors turn to gold and silver. Make your move now. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Results may vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
British police are investigating new allegations against the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
The allegations are from documents released by the Justice Department in the U.S. investigating Epstein. No arrests have been made in the U.K. One dates back to the mid-90s to 2000. The other is from the mid-80s. The Epstein scandal has rocked the royal family and British politics because of his links to Peter Mandelson, the UK's former ambassador to Washington, and to the former Prince Andrew. King Charles stripped his younger brother of his royal titles in an effort to insulate the royal family from possible new revelations about his friendship with Epstein. I'm Ed Donahue.
World Health Organization Director General voicing concern about the rapid spread of a rare type of Ebola in eastern Congo. Authorities reporting at least 134 deaths and more than 500 cases. A strain of the virus has no approved treatments or vaccines. News and analysis, townhall.com. Opening statements in a school shooting trial in Newport News, Virginia.
Prosecutors say an assistant principal at a Virginia elementary school shook off repeated warnings that a 6-year-old student had a gun that was later used to shoot his teacher. Ebony Parker is charged with 8 counts of felony child neglect in the January 2023 shooting at Rich Neck Elementary School in Newport News. The shooting wounded first-grade teacher Abby Zwerner in her classroom. Prior to the shooting, several school employees told Parker they believed the child had a gun in his backpack, only to be told by Parker that the child's mother would be arriving soon to pick him up. Parker's attorney Curtis Rogers says teachers should have done something if they believed a gun was present. Keith Peters reporting.
Authorities say 2 teens who shot and killed 3 people in an attack on a San Diego mosque were radicalized online where they first met. Investigators say they left behind writings expressing hatred of various races and religions. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
The Trump administration has brought a lot of positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system, but there's only so much the government can do. And if we really want to make America healthy again, that starts at home, and that's where the Wellness Company comes in. The Wellness Company allows you to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits, which contain an assortment of life-saving medications and guidebooks to assist in the proper use of these medications. The Wellness Company also offers a variety of health products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more, helping you stay healthy and live a longer, better, healthier life. Make America healthy again. That starts at home. So do your part and protect the health of you and your family. All you have to do is go to twc.health/Godzilla today and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10%. That's twc.health/Godzilla.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
This meeting with China and President Trump, the stakes couldn't be higher.
Listen, China's not our friend. They've been stealing our technology. They've been stealing the AI, responsible for the COVID. Let's be very, very careful about giving stuff to China.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
It's the top news of the day.
China wants the oil from Iran.
They want to make a deal that's good for them and not piss us off too much.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging calcium alpha-ketoglutarate, which has been clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
All right, folks, I need you to do something right now. Go to johnfredericksradio.com and take our brand new 2028 Republican presidential straw poll. Who do you want leading the ticket? Don't let the elites decide. Make your voice heard. While you're there, weigh in on 2 huge issues: eminent domain reform and President Trump's tariff policies. Are they protecting American workers or hurting growth? This is your movement, your vote, your voice, your choice. Go to johnfredericksradio.com right now and take the poll.
It's finally here, our 2nd annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, regular $69.98. Now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale only $14.98. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's gonna ship absolutely free.
To take advantage of the 2nd annual mega sale, go to mypillow.com or call 800-854-0504 and use promo code Godzilla.
Happy Wednesday morning, listening fam. Hump Day. We're getting closer to that holiday weekend. This is the John Fredericks Media Network. I'm Dan Hobb. Good time for a look at weather and sports. We'll start as we always do with where I am in Richmond, Virginia, and I think Richmond's the high man on the totem pole today as far as the temperature goes. 99. That'll be a record. Low of 69 tonight. Right now the temperature is also 69 degrees. Squirrels lose to Binghamton yesterday, 10-7. They'll be back in action tonight at 7:05. Moving on to the nation's capital. The Nats topped the Mets yesterday 9-6. They'll see each other again this evening starting at 6:45. In the meantime, a high of 96 for Washington, a low of 62 and stormy. Right now, the temperature is already 73 degrees. Woo! In Atlanta, happy folks there this morning. The Braves bounced back against the Marlins yesterday. Winners 8-4. The two teams will face off again starting at 6:40 tonight. A high in the meantime of 87, a low of 67. Right now, the temperature in Atlanta is 71 degrees. Nashville, you're looking at a high of just 78 today and stormy. A low of 64 tonight, still stormy. Right now, the temperature is 74 degrees. I think those lower highs are coming our way in the East Coast here. Philadelphia, well, you dropped last night's game to Cincy, 4-1. You'll be back in action against the Reds at 1:05 this afternoon. It's going to be hot. High temperature of 93 this afternoon. A low of 59 with storms tonight. Right now, the temperature is 73 degrees. Morgantown, you're looking at a very comfortable high of 77. On the bad side, though, thunderstorms in the process. A low of 52 tonight. That sounds glorious to me. Right now, the temperature is 66 degrees. West Virginia baseball nets 10 all Big 12 honors, including 4 first-teamers. Max Yell is the Big 12 Pitcher of the Year. Congratulations to him. Pittsburgh, you're going to see a high today of 74, also with storms. A low of 50 with late rain. Right now, the temperature is 69 degrees. The Buccos were playing the Cardinals yesterday. Need I say more? Okay. Well, bringing you today's weather and sports update is the Godzilla Wins radio show for the best insight, analysis, and picks. Watch and listen to Godzilla Wins Saturday mornings from 9 to 11 all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Plus, to get John's daily sports picks, go to GodzillaWins.com. Once again, that's GodzillaWins.com. This has been Dan Hopgood for the John Fredericks Media Network. Outside the Box with the Ox is next, followed by the John Fredericks Show. Stay tuned, everyone.
And promoting his highly anticipated opening of government-run grocery stores, New York City Mayor Mad Manny invoked a frequently cited quote.
I cannot help but think of the words of our 40th president, Ronald Reagan. The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are I'm from the government and I'm here to help. But I disagree. I think 9 more terrifying words are actually I worked all day and can't feed my family.
Well, in Minnesota, a Republican legislator came up with an idea instead to get government out of the way. A bill just passed with bipartisan support to allow grocery stores to donate expired eggs to food shelves. Eggs up to 30 days past their freshness or best buy date can be released to the public in need for free.
I need you, darling, to try milk for me when I am not sure of the expiration date.
Right, maybe a couple of days passed, but this is for eggs. So why not instead change the method for determining best buy dates to accurately reflect the freshness and suitability of the food we eat, which would seem like the basic goal of government organizations charged with determining the criteria for these food expiration dates, right? Because it's odd that in an election year, legislators pat themselves on the back for their benevolence to the hungry and thriftiness to the food industry and taxpayers here, when what they're really saying by passing this from outside the box is that the food might be past its expiration date, but it's good enough for poor people.
You gonna eat that?
What, that? No. Yes. No. Well, no, I'd crossed my mind. Yeah.
Here outside the box with the Ox in the Eastern Time Zone and now in West Virginia on the John Fredericks Media Network.
John Fredericks.
It is the most egregious thing I've seen in a lifetime.
President Trump.
The whole thing is ridiculous.
When politics start getting wild.
They want to have every single thing that you don't want. Raise taxes, men and women's sports. They got to open up their border.
Trump hits the speed dial.
Thank you for calling in on such short notice.
You came first, John.
Wake up with the John Fredericks Show weekday morning, 6 Eastern, 5 Central on JFMN.TV, the massive J-Fred radio network, and all across the socials.
You came first, John. Thank you very much, and you do a great job.
Right now, download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play and get the entire Mountaineer sports world in the palm of your hand. Right now, get notified when new stories drop about your favorite Mountaineers teams and athletes. Download the WV Sports Nation app right now. Get updates on next-level Mountaineers like Weatherholt and Joe Mazzulla. All that and more right in your pocket right now. Download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play. Download the app right now.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's the John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk radio in the universe. You can call our toll-free number at 888-480-5600 888-5646 to talk to John. And now, here's the Godzilla of truth, the oracle of the deplorables, the man who is 6 months to a year ahead of everyone but God himself, John Fredericks.
Speaking with reporters now. Reporters, not reporters.
All right. Listen, I would have come out sooner, but I had to call my opponent and concede, and it took a while to find Ed Galrein in Tel Aviv. I did get the call through, though. I have called and conceded the race. We've been honorable the whole time, and we're going to stay that way. You know, welcome to the most expensive congressional primary ever in the 250-year history of this country. It's not just the most expensive. This thing went on longer than Vietnam. It started 9 months ago, and they didn't even have a candidate.
It was the most expensive House primary in U.S. history, and the president made it a priority to get rid of Thomas Massie, and he succeeded because Massie had, frankly, become an opponent of the president inside of the party, and you just can't do that. You know, Massie used to, reliably vote with the Republicans. That number had been falling over time. This is one of the most conservative districts in the country. It's certainly a conservative area of Kentucky. They gave Donald Trump a massive victory in 2024, and they expect the Republican congressman who represents them to be part of the team. The two big issues in the race that were in most of the advertising had to do with tax cuts and immigration, and Massie was against Trump on both of his big border security and tax cut bills. And so they said, look, we can get a Republican congressman that'll be part of the team and support the president. That campaign worked. I just want to also add one other thing. Thomas Massie tonight in his concession speech said something despicable, anti-Semitic, nasty, gutter politics right at the end. What a way to go out. He said, I would have called Ed Galrein, but I had to find him in Tel Aviv. There was an undercurrent of anti-Semitism in this race on the Massie side. There's been an undercurrent of it in his career, unfortunately, and it really came out in an ugly way tonight. And I think it needs to be stated, acknowledged, and condemned because it was pretty despicable.
Welcome to MAGA Nation. What a great night it was for us last night. All of you doubters, I don't want to hear another word about rhino this and rhino that. We have been telling you for 5 years that because we have joined the fight, because we have joined the precincts, because we have become precinct committee man, because we have joined the party, that MAGA has taken over the Republican Party. I said it on Newsmax the other day. Lock, stock, and barrel, top down. This is MAGA 2.0, baby. You cross us as a Republican, you try to vote against us and you vote with the other guys, you are not keeping your seat. Have a nice retirement, Thomas Waste My Time Massie. Now, those of you that have followed me, by the way, I'm John Fredericks, your Godzilla of Truth in America. You think I'm not fired up today? Oh, yeah, baby. Truth and clarity right here. I have been railing against Thomas Massie for a decade. The guy is a complete anti-Semitic waste of protoplasm, do-nothing, obstructionist libertarian. And the whole libertarian movement is a clown car. All of them. All they do is elect Democratic communist senators in Georgia. Without the Libertarian Party, Perdue is there and Kelly Loeffler's there. So, don't be telling me about the Libertarian Party and what they stand for and their principles. Screw you, Massie. And then you go out like Scott Jennings said, you go out like just a despicable human being. Hit the road. Hey, look, I'm sorry what happened to your wife. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for your family. But you know what? Go back on your farm and raise pigs or squirrels or whatever the hell you do down there. I could care less. All I know is you are out of my life. Good riddance. Don't let the door hit you in the keister on the way out. Here's your hat. What's your hurry? Walk off a short pier to your hat floats. Those are my 3 sayings for Thomas Massie. What a great victory. And he got crushed. He got crushed. Gilding crushed him, beat him by 10 points. They said, oh, it's going to be a nail biter. Ooh, nail biter. Bite your nails. Oh, thing was over at 7:10. Polls closed at 7. They called it at 7:15. He got killed because people are sick and tired of this. And MAGA rules the party. This is our party. And look, we are planning. We are way ahead of the game because we are planning for post-Trump MAGA, MAGA 2.0. Post-Trump MAGA, MAGA 2.0. We've been planning for that, and that's what we're going to be working on. And you saw it in Kentucky, and you're going to see it in Texas. So yesterday was a great day. I'm in the press briefing room, and I guess that's when it's about 12:30, 12:35, and that's when the president sent out the Truth Social that he was endorsing Ken Paxton over Chris LaCivita, who wanted him to endorse Cornyn. Well, they saw the handwriting on the wall. They saw the early voting on Monday. Paxton's base is pumped. Paxton is MAGA 2.0. So forget Cornyn. He's cooked. Matt Rinaldi, former chairman of Texas, was on yesterday, Texas GOP. And what did he say? He predicted a 15-point victory for Paxton. He nailed it. After the Trump endorsement, yeah, it's going to be in by 15. This race was never in doubt, and the president did the right thing. Rather than aggravating his base like nuts, which made no sense to go with Chris LaCivita. By the way, they spent $120 million, average commission 10%. Chris made $12 million. Okay, take the money, put it in the bank. Generational wealth, thank you. I mean, it's, you do what you got to do. Chris, I love you, but you're back on a losing horse. But you banked the coin. That's the business you're in. I don't begrudge you that, right? He got the money, you spent it. It just didn't work. These people are gone. If Thune was up for election, he'd get beat. We have taken the party over. This is a movement. This isn't Bush and this and that and this. No, this is a movement. And we have gotten people involved at the grassroots level, which is what I'm doing here in Washington, D.C. The Post interviewed me, the Washington Post, yesterday. Like, why are you doing this? Don't you have better things to do with your time? Sure I do. There's no better thing to do with your time than get involved locally, even though it's a lost cause, apparently. Oh, you only get 7% of the vote. So? If you always say that forever, you'll always be stuck there. I want to get 25% and then 30% and then maybe win a council seat someplace. You got to start at the grassroots. Love, we got to get people fired up. We got to give them a reason to vote. Trump gave people a reason to come out yesterday in Kentucky and vote. So great win there for the end of Thomas Massie. Now for the next, June, the next 6 months are going to be a pain in the ass. Massie will be a pain in the neck for the next 6 months. Then he goes away. Deal with it. Same thing with Cornyn. He'll obstruct everything for 6 months and then he goes away. Good riddance. Don't let the out. I tell you, we're peeling these people off one by one. So don't be sending me, don't be on the chat in caps talking about rhinos. Do you got to understand? Their days are numbered here. We have taken the party over. You should be rejoicing and jubilant. Everything is not going to go perfect. Nothing is perfect. Got to ride the turns, right? Just like you bet in baseball. I won 9 out of 10 last night. Lost 2 out of 3, right? Lost the game in the 9th inning. Hey, it's you got to ride the turns, man. Got to ride the turns. All right, we're doing everything we need to do. We're fired up. Now let's get to some other big races. Kentucky, Senator, Barr. The difference between Andy Barr and McConnell, oh my God. Another rhino gone, replaced by a moving MAGA conservative in Andy Barr. Another one. Just one after the other. Okay, big news coming out of Georgia. Runoff. Mike Collins, 40%. Derek Dooley, in the 30s. Buddy Carter, 25% out. I like Buddy. Ran a good campaign. He's a good guy. Buddy's a good guy. But he's out of Congress, out of the Senate. Now you got a runoff, Collins, Dooley. I expect Trump will endorse Dooley. This is going to be, I'm sorry. Rewind. I expect Trump will endorse Collins. Don't know that for a fact, but likely. Can't win, but he'll probably endorse him. On the other hand, Kemp is all in for Dooley. Dooley came up at the end, and I got to hand it to Debbie Dooley. This is what she predicted. I'm trying to get her on today at the Peach Crew because Debbie went 2 for 2. And she said that they'd spend the money at the end and get in the runoff. And they did. So Debbie Dooley was right. Got to give credit where it's due and do a victory lap. Carter's out. Is this a done deal for Collins at 40%? No. No. Dooley's going to campaign as an outsider, and Collins has got issues. And Dooley's going to outspend him. And Kemp is going to ride this one. He's going to ride this train to the last stop. So don't count him out. That's going to be an interesting runoff. That is on June 16th. That's right, June 16th, which is, my victory party day. So a lot of things to celebrate. June 16th, that's going to be the runoff. It is a month away, 3 weeks away. Right, 3 weeks away. So a little bit shorter than Texas, right? Texas thing's over. Also, the endorsement of Paxton helps Chip Roy. Chip Roy's going to win that race. That's what I'm predicting. You're going to have Paxton Roy. Chip Roy, Attorney General, Texas, look out. What do they say? FAFO? FAFO. Chip Roy, if he wins and he becomes Attorney General of Texas. FAFO. Can't say it on the air, but you all know what it means. Now, let's go to the Georgia gubernatorial race, where everybody expected Ricky Jackson to come in first place. Everybody. Trump went all in for Burt Jones. Jackson was way ahead. There was a time about a month ago, people thought that Jackson could get 50%. He spent $100 million. He carpet bombed everything. Burt Jones and Jackson are in the runoff. Raffensperger out. We all knew that. Chris Carr out. But Burt Jones beat him 35% to 36 to 33 or 36 to 34. Jones actually got more votes in the primary than Jackson, which is good news for Burt Jones. And all the negative ads that Burt Jones did that everybody criticized, here's a problem with negative ads, they work. That's why people do them. Sorry, I don't like him. You don't like him. Nobody likes him. They work. I mean, Ricky Jackson was in the high 40s and he went down under Jones. Now, the problem that Jones has in this race is that Jackson will outspend him. That's number one in the runoff. But the other thing is Raffensperger votes and Carr votes are likely going to Jackson. Oh, that's the problem. It's not insurmountable. And I'm going to do everything I can for Burt Jones. So 100% Burt Jones. But with just, truth and clarity, he's in a tough position. Just like we knew that Cornyn was never going to win when Wesley Hunt got 15% of the vote. Those Hunt votes were never going to Cornyn. All of them are going to Paxton, 85%. Same thing here going in Georgia. The Raffensperger votes, 90% of those are going to Jackson. Carr votes, 80% of those are going to Jackson. So you cobble those together, Jackson's over 50%. Big. So, but Jones was good. Collins, where are the Buddy Carter votes going? I mean, this put actually Collins in a better position because Carter votes are not going 100% to Dooley. No way. That'll probably be split right down the middle. And if it's split down the middle, Collins is a nominee. So Dooley's got to find a way to get, to win this thing, cobble together 50% plus one with Trump's endorsement of Collins, which I'm sure will come. I'm not sure he can do that. Now, the only thing that is going to hurt Collins is that a lot of people don't believe that he's electable over Ossoff. That's going to be a problem. I happen to be one of them. I think he'd be a great senator. Great to have him. If I was in Georgia, would I vote for Collins or Dooley? I'd vote for Dooley. Not because I think Dooley is the shining light at the end of the tunnel, but because I think he's got a better chance to beat Ossoff, who I think if he wins, he's in there for life. You'll never get him out. A guy will run for president one day or be VP. You'll never get him out of there. I just happen to think Dooley is probably a better chance. I think Collins got too many issues that they can exploit. But that's just me, right? And look, Collins MAGA, sure. But, like William F. Buckley said, I look for the most conservative candidate that's selectable. I'm not sure that Collins is. But look, everybody's going to have their own opinion. Everybody's going to be on the chat, calling me a rhino. You can call me whatever you want. I deal in the real world, right? And right now, we got to get rid of Ossoff. That's why I back Susan Collins. Is she perfect? No. The other guy is a communist revolutionary. Pick one. Those are your choices. It's a binary choice. There's not multiple choice here. One, votes with us 55% of the time, and on every big issue, she's always there. Other one, communist, revolutionary, anti-Semite. Which one should I go with? Give me a break. Collins. This is just reality. But a great day for MAGA. This is intelligent MAGA. Like when somebody was asking me the other day, MAGA this, MAGA that, Collins or something. I'm like, MAGA voters are smart. They're not dumb. Like, we're not dumb. We're not going to cut off our nose to spite our face. We're smart voters. Witness, my friends, witness the complete takeover of the Republican Party by MAGA. Just happened last night. You're on the John Fredericks Media Network. In your heart, I'm right. Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
For the first time ever, we're bringing you My Pillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our My Pillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our My Pillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door absolutely free.
Go to mypillow.com or call 800-854-0504 and use promo code Godzilla to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging supplements clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
How much did you win at Rosie's Gaming Emporium?
Hi, I'm Jerry from Richmond. I won a $23,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
I'm Tammy. I'm from Newport News, and I just won a $5,400 jackpot from Rosie's.
Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm from West Virginia, and I won $99,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
Are you ready? Learn more about Rosie's rewards and jackpots at rosiesgaming.com. Must be 18 or older. Problem gambling? Call 1-888-532-3500.
That's how I feel. Damn sick and tired of getting out rebounded. 25 offensive rebounds. First time we block out, we get called for a damn block out. We're pushing people. Meanwhile, they're on the other court grabbing rebounds, going over the top and grabbing them. We get one offensive rebound, the other we get called for over the back. We don't block out very damn well, and we're not getting called, one or the other. That's where I'm frustrated. That's where my whole frustration comes in, offensive rebounds. The entire thing came down to offensive rebound. They got every stinking offensive rebound, and we didn't get one of them. What else do you want to know?
Don't touch that dial. You found your home of the truth.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With the best analysis in America.
You can't handle the truth.
And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
You're on the John Fredericks Media Network, and I am your Godzilla of the Truth in America. Truth and clarity coming to you from your nation's capital, Washington, D.C. Hey, guess what? Monday holiday, 3-day weekend. Danny boy, you're off. You can sleep in. There is no show on Monday. It's the best of John Fredericks. Dan, you're going to have to learn to put that together with Michael Coleman. And we get a little 3-day weekend coming up. What's today, Danny? Wednesday? Guess what? Thursday. Oh, guess who's coming home on Thursday? Joe's coming home. Excited about that. So they said, well, you can't go home. You have to stay and do rehab. We got to get you better. You got to anchor the bullpen next year. We can't afford any more of these injuries. You're not pitching this summer. You can't go home. You got a scholarship. You got to come here every day. Now, if home was Pittsburgh, then he'd be, staying in the dorm. But home is 8 stops on the metro. So, yeah, it's all good, right? It's all good. God works in strange ways. So this is the first summer that I have not been out with my son somewhere for baseball in, I don't know, since he's 10, he's 22, right? 12 years. So, I don't know what to do with myself. Last year, where did we go? Washington State, Portland, right? Portland, Oregon, right? He was in Oregon last year. Before that, Cape Cod. Before that, the Appalachian League and Kingsport, Tennessee. And, of course, then you had travel ball in Florida. So every summer I've been with him for 12 years, and now no baseball. So he's home recuperating, getting the lat done so we can come back next year with a vengeance and anchor that bullpen, which Maryland had the worst bullpen in the Big Ten. And boy, they made a lot of changes. Oh my God, the whole team is, I don't even want to go into it, but Coach Swope there had enough, I guess. Bunch of kids got cut. Bunch he told to go in the portal. And out of the 30 some odd kids on the roster, I think 8 are coming back. I mean, he complete turnover. But that's what you got to do. You got to change the culture. You got to get what you want. Let me leave it at that. So we look for a much more potent Maryland team next year. Always next year. Meantime, the West Virginia Mountaineers are going to Omaha. No doubt about it. They're in the tournament. You can follow us there. Go to wvsportsnation.com. wvsportsnation.com. Their tournament in Surprise, Arizona, right by Tempe. And games are already started there. They had a couple games yesterday. West Virginia will open on Thursday. Our beat reporter, Logan Powell, is there live covering it. and had coverage of the games and the first two games there. I think BYU and Kansas State won, but you can get it all by going to WVSportsNation.com. We're the only West Virginia outlet that actually has a sports reporter live on scene. And so you're going to catch all of Logan Powell. He just graduated from West Virginia University, so we're excited about that and excited to have him on the team. He's been with us since he was a junior, so 2 years, graduated, helped him get through college, and now he's out there in Arizona with us. So kind of fun. Now, the other thing is you want to download the official app. If you have an iPhone, just go to the App Store or an Apple device. If you have an Android, go to Google Play and just put in WV Sports Nation. WV, West Virginia, WV Sports Nation. Our app will come up. Download that. And I tell you, the great thing with the app is, like, you don't have to go to the site. It's right there. So you just click on the app, but then you get alerts. Like when I got up today, I had the story in my email or in my alert. I got the story about the games last night, which, went on way after I went to bed, obviously. But it's a great app, and I want you to download it now. WV Sports Nation. Just go to WV Sports Nation. WV Sports Nation. Download the app now. And even if you're not in West Virginia and you're just a casual fan because of us, download it anyway, and I would appreciate that. All good. 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. Micah Rules. How long have I been telling you this? This is why you tune me in. I know that I don't have the biggest audience. I don't have the greatest audience. I don't have the clickbait. I don't have any of that. But you tune me in because no nonsense, and I tell you the truth. I tell you the truth. And the truth is, this is MAGA's party. Don't even worry about it, guys. We took it over. You did this. My favorite quote from Napoleon: I got back to Paris. I took a stroll one night down the boulevard. I saw the crown lying in the gutter. I picked it up and put it on my head. I'm king. There it is. The Republican Party is in the gutter. We find the crown, we pick it up, we put it on, we're king. We rule. It's a beautiful thing. Indiana, Massey, Paxton, I go on and on and on. McConnell's gone. Think about the rhinos out of there. Tillis, gone. McConnell, gone. Massey, gone. Oh, wait till Rand Paul comes up. Oh, my baby. See ya. We've had enough of him too. Like, we control the party. You don't do what we want, you're going to get voted out of Republican primaries. Out. Because we rule. We have a movement. I don't know what you're doing, libertarians. We have a movement. They have a movement too. It's called Communist Party USA. Deal with it. They have a movement too. And they're winning too. They just won that. They just elected a communist in that, was it the 3rd district in Philadelphia? That all the establishment lined up against, the money and everything else. And some left-wing commie wins a seat, which is the bluest seat in the country, I'm told. I mean, they're taking over too. I mean, they took over that seat in Maine with this guy Plattner, who was a communist revolutionary like Che Guevara, beating a 8-year governor in Janet Mills, who's very liberal but not nuts. And he was up by so much, she dropped out. They got their movement, we got ours. Let's meet them on the battlefield. Let's let our ideas and their ideas clash as we put ballots in boxes, which right now is all that matters. Ballot box, that's it. Okay, let's get the phone lines. Phone should be ringing off the hook. Let's go to Steve Areno in Virginia. Hey, Abigail Spanberger vetoing now all the left-wing stuff. What's up with that?
Good morning, Chairman Fredericks. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for the donation. Wait a minute. Thanks for the campaign donation, and then the second donation, and then the third donation. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm trying.
I know you are.
But I'll tell you, I really don't want to talk about AB Normal Spanberger, but I mean, that's a reality that hopefully won't last forever. But seriously, yesterday when I heard that Trump had endorsed Paxton, I didn't think, wow, what a great thing for Texas. My first thought was, I bet John is celebrating right now.
Totally.
So, but so it was a terrific Tuesday. But we have to be thinking, for tomorrow already and for the midterms. But there was one thing yesterday that I'm sorry I wasn't able to call in, but you had a caller, Jamie from Virginia, and regarding the settlement with the DOJ, that Trump, he took less than 20% to settle with the DOJ, which, a great thing to donate that money to, people who were affected by January 6th and all of that. But the taxpayers are the winners too, because, him settling for, less than 20% means we're all winners, because that's our tax dollars that go to settle, the DOJ's, problem there. But anyways, the issue for me was that back, it was Christmas or January, one of your vacations back then, I believe that I talked to Killer Carl, and I was talking, the issue was January 6th, and I mentioned about that I was supposed to go there, and a little bird told me, sit that one out, and on January 7th, I was really glad that I had listened to that little bird, but because I knew something was up. But the issue here was that on January 7th, I saw two videos that I've never been able to find again. And one of them was what Jamie was mentioning yesterday, probably the same event of that there was somebody dressed all in black, with a metal bar breaking through a window. Now, the video that I saw was that there were a few of them that were all dressed in black, and the guy's trying to break through the window. But a guy with a red MAGA hat, probably 50, 60 years old, walks up and tries to stop the guy from, breaking the window. And then all the other ones jump on him and beat him down to the ground. And so that was one video. But the first video that I had seen was Capitol Police were helping little shuttle buses parked somewhere near the Capitol, and there was a guy in the street saying, look at these shuttle buses, and all of the people getting off the shuttle buses were all dressed in black with, black body armor and helmets and clubs and stuff. And I'm like, who are those people? And it's like, I realized it's Antifa. Antifa was showing up, and the Capitol Police were helping them park so that they could get to, the riot that wasn't even happening yet. So, there's a lot of stuff that still has not come out. There's Capitol Police that you could probably interview. I forget the name of one of the Capitol Police officers who actually said that a lot of the stuff that claimed to be happening was not. And so, I mean, it's just a mess. But thank God for President Trump helping the people who suffered through all of that horribleness.
So the libtard media yesterday, that's all they focused on in the press briefing with J.D. Vance. I was there, obviously, and it's a zoo. I don't even want to get into it. It's just getting that thing is getting so bad in there. I now dread these. Like, I had to stand there for 3 hours. You really couldn't move. If you had to go to the bathroom, you're done. You can't get out. The thing is so packed with people, cameras, tripods, bags. I mean, it's really, it's a hazard. I don't know what they're going to do in there. They let all the foreign press in. They got too many people they let in with passes, people with blogs, and it's just ridiculous. I mean, the thing has become a clown show in there. Having said that, I'm there right up front and center. The libtard media is sitting in the first three rows. All they wanted to talk about was over and over and over. All they wanted to talk about was this $1.7 million and should people that, assaulted a cop get money. I mean, that was a line of questioning. And I thought Vance handled it well. He said, we're going to take this on a case-by-case basis. A lot of people were accused of things they never did. and a lot of people were hurt by this, and there was no due process, and they were wiped out financially with lawyers, and they didn't really do anything wrong. And so, yeah, we're going to take this on a case-by-case basis. And but of course, the libtard media went on and on and on about, taxpayers paying people that incited a riot, which is their mantra. I thought Vance handled it well. I thought he handled the press conference well. There was one guy there that, Caroline does a better job at this. There's too many people in there that now it's becoming a grandstand thing. The purpose of the press briefing is to ask questions and get answers, take it back to your audience. It's becoming grandstanding. One guy in there, some liberal, I don't even know why he's there. I don't even know what he represents, probably like 1,000 people in his network or blog or whatever. How this guy has a seat, I have no earthly idea. Might be the Washington Blade or something. I don't know what it is. But the guy, he doesn't ask a question. He has a 2-minute intro. 2 minutes. This place is packed with 200 people. You can't breathe. And Vance lets this guy go on making a statement about, how Trump enriched himself or something. This whole thing. And then, got the lady from Lindell TV, nice enough young lady. She's making statements. So ask a freaking question. Now, if he called on me, my question is, count the seconds. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. What was the number one thing that President Trump got out of Xi in China? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds. I don't need to tell a story and make a statement. So I'll turn into grandstand. But, look, he settled for this money, and the people that have suffered because of what they did to them deserve compensation. Just like when you sue a city because you've been wrongly accused and the city has to fork over money, or the county or the state, it's the same thing. So I'm in agreement with what the president did, and I thought Vance handled it well. Thank you, Steve. 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. You want to weigh in? This is, what did Steve call it? Terrific Tuesday, MAGA Tuesday, something of that nature. But what a great day for us. So we just keep winning. Are you tired of all this winning yet? Winning is so much winning. That's because we started this movement 11 years ago, and we never gave up. We never stopped. And if you look at back how we were 11 years ago and what we were facing and the uphill climb and all the rhinos and the Republicans and the car roves, and a lot of them retired, a lot of them we ousted, a lot of them are gone. A lot of them didn't run again. A lot of them got beat. And why I'm so optimistic about the midterms is you look at these maps, there has to be a blue tsunami for them now to win the House. It just can't be a little bit of a wave. It's got to be a tsunami. They've got to flip Trump plus 10 districts. I don't think they're going to do it. Trump plus 8, Trump plus 6. Yeah, they did it in the specials. People were pissed. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we got a hell of a shot. We just got to keep pressing, getting rid of these gerrymandered seats, getting rid of these Voting Rights Act Title II seats, getting rid of them one by one. We need to hit the magic number, 11. Once we hit that, we've already got a 4-seat majority. That's 15. We're going to win the LePage seat, flip that Maine 2, 16. We're going to win the Camper seat in Ohio, 17. Now they got to win 18 seats. Can they? Yeah. All right, maybe. They got 4 in California, or 5. Oh, we give them 5, right? But oh, wait a minute, we got 5 in Texas, so that's a wash. So what else do they have? They got the 5 in Texas and nothing else. The 5 in California. So that wipes out Texas. That's it. So they got to win 18 seats. I keep doing the math for people. Now you look at these districts and you find 18 seats that they can win. And yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7, maybe 8. You start getting to 9 and 10, man, it gets tougher. It gets tougher. And there's Pennsylvania is going to be the battle. That's why he started Pennsylvania Posse. There are 4 vulnerable seats for Republicans in Pennsylvania. 4. They can win them all. They can win none. They can win 2 or 3. They can win 1. I don't know. but there's 4 vulnerable seats there. There's maybe one in New Jersey, maybe. That's 5. And there's a couple other here and there, 6 or 7. But you start getting 18, it gets tougher. 888-480, John, you want to weigh in? 888-480-5646. And Dan, I missed your weather report today. How'd the Pirates do last night? They lose again?
That's how they did. They're terrible. Yeah, they lost 9-6 to the Cardinals.
They were ahead, right? When I went to bed, they were when I looked at the scores, they were up 5-3, 5-4.
Well, I guess that just goes to show that the bullpen is the bullpen for the Buccos. I think
what have they lost now? Five
in a row, I think. Four or five in a row.
I should be betting against them. I should be betting against them every day. I kind of missed that. I bet the Cardinals Sunday they lost, so I kind of soured on them. But yeah. And I think Milwaukee beat the Cubs again last night at Wrigley, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, the Brewers, who are always good.
I don't understand. It's kind of like they're the Tampa Bay of the National League. I don't understand how every season you get rid of your top player. Every single season, you get rid of your top player, get a bunch of other players in his place, younger, less money, farm system. So 3 years straight, you get rid of your best player, and you keep winning.
Yeah, well-run organization.
It's an interesting formula. Get rid of the best player and keep winning.
Well, I mean, not to get too Pittsburgh-centric here, but I mean, a year or two ago, that's what folks were recommending that the Steelers do with T.J. Watt. You know, unload him. And they paid him. They ended up paying him $40-some million a season, and I don't think that he earned that contract last year. So I do think
his trade value has now plummeted.
Yeah,
well, they could have gotten something for him.
Yep,
you could
have gotten a first-round pick probably. Yeah.
Like 2 years ago, at the end of the last season, not last season, the year before.
Right,
you could see the decline. You could see it, and that was it. That was the time to dump him.
Yep, I think a lot, if not most, Steeler fans agree with that. That it was. Hey, you know, if we've gotten what we can get out of him. I think he's at least a top 5 Steelers defender all time, to be honest. Because look at the players he's had around him. It's one thing love Joe Green, love Papa Joe, but that was a defense full of Hall of Fame talent. TJ basically has played with Cam Hayward for his career and was doing what he was doing on the edge there. So I mean, he's been an amazing player for the Steelers. But yeah, you think with these teams, it's a good idea to as I think Belichick made a habit of doing in New England with the football team there, getting rid of a player a year before maybe their sell by date has come. That's the way to keep a team fresh, keep a team growing, keep a team younger. And Milwaukee in the baseball situation, they've tended to do that. I guess Tampa Bay as well in the American League. So yeah,
I bet Tampa Bay again. They won again last night. Orioles. There's something wrong with this team. There's just I don't know what it is. I keep betting against them. I keep cashing bets. Orioles are just. I mean, on paper, Alonso. I mean, you look at him. You know, Richmond. I mean, on paper they look great.
Speaking of American League, National League, maybe the O's or the Mets of the American League here. It's like, what's the deal? Why aren't they winning?
Spending money?
Why don't they win?
I mean, it's not like the owner's not spending money. Whatever his name is, lawyer guy. I mean, he keeps spending money, and they just don't win. There's something wrong in the locker room. You know, it's kind of this is the thing about baseball. It's very different. You have too many players. You play too many games. You do too much travel. And when that locker room, if it's not a good environment, and if you start playing for yourself and your own stats, you're just not going to win. You're just not going to win.
Yeah, but I mean, it just goes to show. I mean, what an interesting sport baseball is in the sense that the best teams of all time don't win more than 2/3 of their games. The worst teams out there still win 1/3 of their games. So very competitive day to day.
Astros won last night, but we absolutely suck. Now McCullers is hurt. It's like every day you wake up like somebody else is hurt. Now McCullers, who was finally pitching better, he's hurt. He's going to be out for months. It's just ridiculous. I mean, the injuries. But yeah, Phil Klein, you're right. You guys are a half game ahead of the Astros. Royals.
Yep.
They suck. They suck too. All right, Joe Klein coming up. John Fredericks Media Network, Truth and Clarity, MAGA Rules. Terrific Tuesday. Stay with us.
W299DB 107.7 Bonaire, 100.5 FM Goochland, and WJFB Portsmouth.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Although he wasn't running, candidates he endorsed were, and President Trump fared quite well in yesterday's Republican primaries in a half dozen states, perhaps the highest profile contest, a GOP House race in Kentucky.
I have called and conceded the race.
Republican Congressman Thomas Massie has criticized the Iran war, pushed for the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files, and voted against President Trump's big tax bill last year, repeatedly drawing comments like this Tuesday.
Thomas Massie's a terrible congressman. He's been a terrible congressman from day one.
And a Trump-backed primary challenger, Ed Gallerine.
I want to thank President Trump for his support, his endorsement, and his counsel.
Massie, the latest Republican lawmaker to lose after being declared disloyal by the president. I'm Ben Thomas.
7 out of 10 Republicans surveyed for a new AP North poll approve of the way the president's doing his job. He gets generally high marks for his conduct of the Iran war and immigration. Wildfires are firing up again in Southern California. 17,000 homeowners under evacuation orders as the Sandy fire burns in the hills above Simi Valley, northwest of Los Angeles. Crews are also fighting a 23-square-mile blaze on Santa Rosa Island off the Southern California coast. At last word, there was zero containment of that blaze. The two teenagers who shot and killed 3 people in an attack on a San Diego mosque were radicalized online where they first met. That's according to investigators. Investigators say they left behind hateful writings that targeted various races and religions. Watching Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures 92 points higher. NASDAQ futures up 197 points. The S&P futures better by 26 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, if your loved one is aging but still mobile, still values their independence, there's a simple tool that keeps them safe and keeps you in the know. I am proud to tell you about Safety Plus by Connected Caregiver. Safety Plus is a wearable device that alerts you immediately if your loved one has had a fall. They can wear it as a necklace, on their belt, but there's even a great watch option. There's even a simple push button on the device allowing mom or dad instant access to emergency services. As you age, it's not like you plan for a fall. Suddenly your knee might lock up. There's an uneven surface, wet floor. There's simply no excuse to not wear something discreet that keeps you safe and can keep you at home longer. That's Safety Plus by Connected Caregiver. To see if you qualify for a free device, call 888-870-8020, 888-870-8020, or visit ccgoffer.com, ccgoffer.com. Again, 888-870-8020. With Connected Caregiver, peace of mind is just a phone call away.
The latest on a deadly public health crisis in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
The scale and speed of this Ebola outbreak is alarming health officials. It took weeks for the virus to be identified, and by then it had spread widely in an area beset by conflict, with many families displaced from their homes. Limited facilities to test for the virus are slowing the response. The WHO says it urgently needs more financial support to fight this outbreak.
The BBC's Fergus Walsh, more than 130 deaths and over 500 cases reported. Russian President Putin has praised his close ties with Chinese leader Xi, saying their countries are close partners in trade and international affairs. The remarks came as they opened bilateral talks today during Putin's visit to Beijing. News and analysis at townhall.com. In New York, a woman steps out of her SUV and into an open manhole, falling to her death.
Police say it happened late Monday night near 5th Avenue and East 52nd Street in Midtown Manhattan. Con Edison says it's investigating why that manhole cover was off. Brady Metzger adds it to one of those concerns living in New York.
No, it is a big fear. I mean, I'm more scared of getting pushed into the tracks than I am of the manhole covers, but I did hear about that incident in Midtown.
The utility company sends its condolences to the grieving family and says safety remains our top priority. Julie Walker, New York.
Single Gen Z women are outpacing the men of their generation when it comes to buying a home. They accounted for 35% of all home buyers in their generation. Single Gen Z men represented 18%, that according to a survey by the National Association of Realtors. More on these stories at townhall.com.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging calcium alpha-ketoglutarate, which has been clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
What if those who were once called conspiracy theorists turn out to be right again? A new study by Korean doctors claimed that COVID vaccines raise the risk of 6 cancers, including lung, breast, and prostate. Researchers analyzed health records from more than 8.4 million adults between 2021 and 2023, and their findings were published in Biomarker Research, a respected scientific journal. Critics dismiss it, but the data raises concern that spike protein exposure may be tied to long-term health risks. And Dr. Peter McCullough has been aware of this since 2020, which is why he collaborated with the wellness company to create Ultimate Spike Detox, designed to help your body clear spike proteins, reduce inflammation, and support heart health. With natural ingredients like nattokinase, dandelion root, and bromelain, it is your daily proactive defense from a man-made virus. Don't wait until symptoms strike or something unexpected happens. Experience the only formula approved and used by Dr. McCullough, one of the top doctors who risked it all. Go to twc.health/Godzilla. That's twc.health/Godzilla and use promo code Godzilla to get 10% off plus free shipping.
Trouble getting to sleep and staying asleep is infuriating. Your mind races, you toss and turn. Nutrition company Healthy Cell created REM sleep to help you quickly fall asleep, stay asleep, and sleep deep. Unlike other supplements that don't work, REM sleep is not a pill. It's a gel you swallow with ultra absorption of science-backed ingredients supporting all 4 stages of sleep. Go to healthycell.com and use code Godzilla for 20% off your first order. Risk-free. Love it or your money back. Guaranteed. Healthycell.com. Code Godzilla.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are a $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Tired of fumbling for your phone, wallet, or keys? Don't put it in your pants, put it in your pocket. Meet T-Pocket, the practical tees, the shirt that keeps it all in reach. Designed in the USA, assembled in the South, these tees feature smart built-in pockets for easy access. Long sleeve, short sleeve, available in most colors, with your favorite teams and logos to come later. Shop the full lineup now at tpocket.net. Fast shipping, easy ordering. Grab yours today and level up your everyday carry. Put it in your pocket with T-Pocket. tpocket.net.
Stop. Really? Is that the first question? We won the game 20-10. Try another question. We played the game to win the game.
All right. How about third down then? What is going on with third down?
It's one game. Last game, we were great on third down. You're looking at this from the wrong perspective. LSU won the football game. Won the game. I don't know what you want from me. What do you want? You want us to win 70-0 against Florida to keep you happy?
No, I think people want to know why you can't run the ball, quite honestly.
We can run the ball. Did you see the last play of the game? That's all you need. You just need one. There's ridiculous questions. You know what? You're spoiled. You're spoiled. This team is 17-1 at night. 17-1. Give them some respect.
He's your Godzilla of the truth in America. No gibberish or nonsense, just common sense. And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
You're back on the John Fredericks Media Network. I am your Godzilla of the truth in America, your oracle of the deplorables, coming to you live from MAGA country, right in the heart of Washington, D.C., 2 blocks from the White House. Press briefing yesterday, J.D. Vance battling the libtard questions about the ballroom and this and that and the $1.7 million funding. And now we got all the rhinos out there saying, these are short-lived victories. Trump's going to lose. There's going to be a blue tsunami, blah, 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 blah. It's all bad. It's all, gas prices are up. Look, you know what? I've heard this before. This is all we hear from them. They've lost all power, and now they just whine and say how we're going to lose. We are not going to lose. This war is coming to an end. Gas prices are going to be down lower than they were. The economy is ready to bust out. We're going to gain we got all these seats. We got rid of the rhinos, and it's a great day. And now we're getting rid of Cornyn. Paxton 2.0, baby, let's go. This is where we're at. So I'm tired of the whiners and the naysayers and the hand-wringers and the bedwetters. We got a movement that's growing. We're ascendant. And we're fighting communists. This is the battle you want to be in. This is the battle you dreamed about being in. If you ever wanted to be in a political battle, this is it. Communism versus freedom. And, MAGA versus commies. You can't get better than this. And we are going to prevail. And we're going to hold the House. And we're going to hold the Senate. And then it's going to be Katie bar the doors. This economy is going to explode out of its seams. People don't realize a one big, beautiful bill, everything going on, jobs are going up, consumer confidence is up. Everything's up. Up, up, up. Everything's up with the Royals and the Astros. They're down. 888-480-JOHN, you want to weigh in. Phil Klein coming up. Don't forget, Phil can't wait to go to my victory party June 16th at the beautiful, at the gorgeous, at the iconic Capitol. I'm sorry. Make me laugh there. It's June 16th. Go to makedcgreat.com, makedcgreat.com at the iconic City Tavern. And Corey Lewandowski is going to be there. Brandon Beach. Representative Morgan Griffith is going to be with us. Phil Klein wants to go. You got to buy a ticket, though, Phil. $50. Hey, guess what? You can go too. Just go to makedcgreat.com, makedcgreat.com. Tickets are right there, $50 a piece. You're going to have a lot of fun. Change is coming, baby. Change is coming. Hey, speaking of change, just did a column the other day about the rats in D.C., trying to get them out of here. And so we got a video that has been, people have asked me to play again, so we're going to play it. Let's pop the Sammy video up. Sammy determined to get rid of the rats in Washington, D.C. Roll it. I'm John Fredericks, candidate, Ward 2, D.C. Well, that was quick. That was quick, Dan. All right. I'm John Fredericks, there it is. Candidate, Ward 2, D.C. GOP chairman. I'd like you to vote for me on June 16th. We want to build a Republican Party here in Washington, D.C., starting in the second ward that we can all be proud of. I'm here with my lovely wife, Ann, our cat, Sammy. Ann has been a great supporter of what we're trying to do. One of the things we want to do here is get rid of the rats. Sammy's already got 2 of them, but he's getting a little old. He can't be chasing rats around. 10 years old. Sammy says, look, I got to retire. I got to retire. I can't keep chasing these rats around. McPherson Park, we got to get rid of the rats. But look, the bottom line is this is our home. This is where we live, right here, Ward 2, Washington, D.C. This is our adopted city. We love it here. Since President Trump has been here, we live now in the safest, most beautiful city in America. We want to keep it that way. Vote for John Fredericks, June 16th, chairman of Ward 2, DC GOP. And
thanks everybody. And while Sammy loves watching the squirrels, he does not like the rats.
Doesn't like the rats.
Vote for John.
Get rid of the rats and let Sammy retire. More information, go to makedcgreat.com. That's makedcgreat.com. All right. Paid for by me. MakeDCGreat.com. Paid for by Fredericks for Chairman. So let's get to Phil Klein. Professor Klein, good to have you with us, sir.
It's good to be with you, John. I think you need to expand your empire and include Arlington in the district.
I know you want to shed Arlington, right? And get rid of it, throw it in here to DC. Well, we're getting. I tell you what, actually, it would help us. Let's see, we get 7% of the vote. What percent of the vote do the Republicans get in Arlington? 10? Actually,
yeah, it ain't much. It's
over 7. So Arlington would actually help us get more votes. So
I trust your reformation of the DC area, and I just want to give you a larger platform.
I do appreciate it. I know you want to shed Arlington and make it back into the square thing. That's never going to happen, but it is good fodder to talk about, but it's never going to happen. Phil Klein, Professor Phil Klein with us. So listen, Phil, I mean, we got a lot to talk about today, but we got to start with the bigger picture here. I mean, this is now MAGA's taking the party over. I mean, the victory of Gideon yesterday over Massey, well, he crushed him. He beat him by 10 points. 10! Like, everybody thought this thing was going to be a nail biter, and a lot of people still thought Massey was going to win. He got crushed. Trump voters are turning out. I don't know what happened. I think what happened is they poked the bear in Virginia, and all of a sudden everybody woke up, and now you got Trump voters turning out in primaries. I mean, forget about the midterms. They're turning out in primaries like we've never seen.
Well, it is needed, and I think the MAGA movement, in a lot of ways, has given hope to a great cynicism that was building, and that people didn't have faith that things could change. And what you see, and what you have seen in Trump's second term, all the way from Doge to the present, is a real effort to change the way things are done. And people are seeing that effort, although not fully successful because of intransience in the United States Senate and in Congress at times, a lot of change has occurred. You know, you are actually seeing for the first time proposed and implemented budget cuts, not just reductions in the increase, but actual reductions in spending. You see a correction of terms where Trump is speaking honestly with the American people about the status of big government, rather than using these coded terms that incrementally grow government authority over your life, and government consumption of your resources. So people are starting to have faith that change can occur. And they believe that Trump is the agent of that necessary change, and Congress better get on board.
I think you nailed it. And look, it's almost the last gasp of the rhinos here, right? Because, Massey's now gone. Thune is up in 28. There's no way that John Thune survives. He's gone. McConnell's gone. Tillis is gone. Who else, right? Another rhino senator. McCornyn's gone. I mean, you go right down the line. These rhinos are out. And so we're moving further and further in our direction. But the absolute collapse yesterday of the Massey vote was stunning to me. Because, yes, I thought Massey was going to lose, but I never saw him getting beat by 10. And the race was good. The polls closed at 7. Phil, it was called at 7:10. I mean, it was not.
Yeah, it was over very, very quickly. And what you're seeing with all the names that you mentioned, John, is this fossilized memory of how the United States Congress used to work. And that is based on an incorrect understanding of the present Democratic Party. The present Democratic Party is radical left. It is Marxist in its focus. It is ideologically uniform and conforming to all of its candidates, no matter what they say behind closed doors in speaking with friends in the United States Senate. They toe the line to a radical left ideology that is attempting to dismantle American exceptionalism. And many of those who've been there institutionally for a long time can't believe that is occurring. They cannot believe their own eyes with what they're seeing and what they're hearing. And they refuse to understand the nature of those who oppose America.
I don't think there's any doubt. I think you nailed it. And I want to get your assessment of the midterms. Then I'm going to get to Virginia. I'm bullish on them. I think we're going to hold the House and the Senate, could even pick up a seat in the Senate. What is your honest, candid assessment right now?
Well, I think there's a chance that the Republican Party holds on to the levels of authority and power in both the House and the Senate. And that's pretty remarkable because that doesn't happen. Now, Joe Biden gained one Senate seat in 2022 and he lost seats in the House. I believe George W. Bush gained some seats. Bill Clinton gained some seats, but that's it. Midterms, usually the prevailing party who holds the White House loses fairly significantly. So this will be a dramatic change in pattern. Some of that due to redistricting and the United States Supreme Court decision in the Calais case. But I believe there's a good chance the Republican Party maintains power.
Okay, so we're on the same page with that. All of a sudden, out of the blue, Abigail Spanberger, getting all this criticism in Virginia, her approval rating going from 70% approval to 35%, got cut in half because all the crazy things the Democrats did that raised your taxes. But she's starting to veto the most left-wing bills, not even telling her colleagues, Scott Serville's a state Senate leader, or Don Scott, not even talking to them, just vetoing. The biggest one she vetoed was the collective bargaining bill that we railed against for months here, saying that it would raise property taxes because independent arbiters with no accountability to any taxpayer anywhere could make decisions that would mean that localities would have to raise property taxes to balance their budget, which is their only means to do that. She vetoed that, and people were shocked. Comment on that.
Well, don't give her credit for that because it was an internal dispute as it relates to the date that the bill would go into effect. Now, one thing about President Trump, and I think this is part of the reason there's strength in the movement. He says what he's going to do, and then he does it. In other words, he's straightforward with the American people. He's very clear about what he believes and what he thinks needs to happen. The Democrats, particularly Spanberger and the delegates and the senators in Richmond, are still playing the old game of trying to hide the ball from Virginians and trying to play their game of accumulation of power. Here's what happened with that collective bargaining bill. The legislature knew that it would increase your taxes, so they wanted to delay implementation until after these midterms, so they wouldn't have to pay a price at the ballot box. Spanberger wanted to delay it until after her term is over, so she would never have to deal with the repercussions. That's why she vetoed it, not because she's against it. She is radically left. She's towing the line, but because she wanted to delay it so she wouldn't have to deal with it as governor, so she can push the entire problem down the line to the next governor of Virginia. That's the Democrat leadership mode. Let's pass it down the line. That's what Trump says about Iran. 47 years of trying to destroy America, thousands of deaths, trying to build a nuclear weapon, and everybody passed it down the line, and Trump's not going to. Here is the Democratic Party saying we're going to pass very, very flawed policy. We know it's going to hurt Virginians, but we want to claim affordability in the elections. So let's just make it implemented way down the line so somebody else has to deal with it. That type of leadership we have to reject. And that's what Spanberger and the Democratic Party is given to Virginians right now.
It's just horrible. Now, she's also got into a debate with some of her Democratic friends there on a couple other bills that they expect her to sign and didn't. What was your reaction to that? I mean,
well, they're still working the fallout out of this flawed effort to redistrict in Virginia, and they're pointing fingers. And when people get more interested in pointing fingers at one another and evading responsibility, those fights tend to magnify into other areas as well. Spanberger initially, is my understanding, she was hesitant on redistricting. Then she decided to go full bore into it, and it was a mess. They did it poorly. They misled the voters. That wasn't even before the Virginia Supreme Court in the case they decided. And I'm convinced if that issue had been up there, they would have struck down the redistricting as well, because that is what some of the most deceptive language you could ever put before voters. So they're stuck. The curtain has been pulled back. They've been exposed, and now they're running around trying to blame one another.
27. I think Republicans are going to pick up some seats in the House.
Well, it takes that grassroots effort, John, and I'm hopeful that we are starting to do more than merely try to energize the base. We're out there on the doors. That's what it's going to take, is the door knocking and trying to build the grassroots structure that the left has, because they still hold a pretty significant advantage at the local level. And they use that advantage to micro target and also mislead voters as it relates to the nature of the Republican in the race, as well as what the Democrat stands for. So we've got to build that grassroots base still.
That's what we got to keep working on. And we're getting there with our efforts to get everybody involved in their local party. You got to get up off your duff. You got to be a precinct captain. You got to get involved. You got to run your little area. Then you got to, work yourself up into leadership, as so many people have done. And people get frustrated, when we first started this effort, because they were treated poorly and they didn't think it was a good value of their time, and they were ostracized. But, you got to keep fighting. And if you don't fight, you get nothing. And so it just takes time. You got to have patience, perseverance, and you got to have a plan, and you got to have some courage, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. I mean, courage without a plan gets you annihilated. A plan without courage, you never really do anything. You never really implement it. It's a white paper, right? So you got to have courage and a plan. Phil, going forward here, I want to get your thoughts on a lot of criticism at the press briefing yesterday by the libtard media in the first three rows of the press briefing on this $1.7 billion settlement that Trump says he's going to give to people that he believed were harmed by J6 and the weaponization of government. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I haven't fully looked at that, but I would say this, that there was a weaponization. And there is a distinct difference about how the Biden administration and how the left has weaponized government against conservative thinking and what the mainstream media is concerned about with the current DOJ. They weaponized ethics, they weaponized licensing, they weaponized the DOJ, and they've been doing that for some time. There was actually a nonprofit funded on the left to try to generate and file complaints against conservative attorneys who might represent Trump. They chilled representation. We talked about Mr. Clark last week, in which they filed an ethics complaint for advice a president's attorney gave the president. That is a stunning breach of the ability to zealously advocate your client. We had complaints filed against our attorneys. They had hundreds of millions of dollars focused on trying to use licensing authority, DOJ. I was subpoenaed by the DOJ. They got my phone records. January 6th subpoenaed me. And as you know, John, I faced this weaponization of ethics way back in Kansas in the early 2000s when George Soros teamed with Planned Parenthood and a radical on the Kansas Supreme Court to weaponize ethics against me. They have been doing this now for decades. It is wrong. It's caused harm. It's chilled debate. It's a violation of free speech. And it's Marxist in its thinking because it tries to conform speech and thought by using governmental power. So there's a profound difference about what the left has done to try to restrict speech, to punish professionals who don't agree with their worldview, as compared to the left's complaints about conservatives.
I think you nailed it. Going forward, I want to talk a little bit about the U.S. Senate. Do you see a chance? You're a professor at Liberty University. Do you see a chance, Phil, of getting the SAVE Act into reconciliation?
I don't know. John, I haven't looked at it closely enough. I hope there is. I think it's common sense. I think it's needed. But right now you have some senators who are lame ducks because of the statements, endorsements of the president, or they're not running and so forth. And so it depends whether they are willing to do the right thing or they just want to get back at Trump.
Well, right now, even if it got the reconciliation, we don't have 50 votes. Because we've only got 53. You can only lose 3. Tillis gone. McConnell says he's voting no. Murkowski's voting no. And then there was one other one that I forget. Somebody can text me and remind me. I forgot. But I think there's 4 no votes. So even if they got it to reconciliation, we can't even cobble together 50 votes in the Senate. This is why people are so pissed. I mean, this is why we can't get anything done. Here we have a majority in the Senate, and we can't even get our senators to vote for what is the most sensible election reform act you can imagine, which is like supported by 80% of the people, and we can't even get our Republican senators to back it. Unbelievable.
Yeah, you would think that one vote is gettable for the leader of the United States Senate. So it's an important act. What we saw in 2020 and what we see the left doing or trying to do to how we run elections is horrific. They are removing all constraints about how we manage elections, to the point that American faith in elections until recently had been dropping all the way down to the level of third world countries, to crisis proportions. Extend election day forever. Don't require identification. Set aside rules right and left for certain areas, which is what they did in 2020. They are creating an election mess. So even foreigners allowed to vote in U.S. elections. And we need to put a stop to it. And common sense reform is needed.
Common sense. What a novel idea. Phil Klein, college professor, thank you for being with us today. As always, people want to follow you. It's Phil with 2 L's. Phil Klein on Facebook and everywhere else. Follow him there. We're on the John Fredericks Media Network. We're going to take your calls. 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. Elaine Parker next.
Seconds. 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cell's Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code GODZILLA for free activation. The Trump administration has brought a lot of positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system, but there's only so much the government can do. And if we really want to make America healthy again, that starts at home, and that's where the Wellness Company comes in. The Wellness Company allows you to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits, which contain an assortment of life-saving medications and guidebooks to assist in the proper use of these medications. The Wellness Company also offers a variety of health products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more, helping you stay healthy and live a longer, better, healthier life. Make America healthy again. That starts at home. So do your part and protect the health of you and your family. All you have to do is go to twc.health/Godzilla today and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10%. That's twc.health/Godzilla.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
This meeting with China and President Trump, the stakes couldn't be higher.
Listen, China's not our friend. They've been stealing our technology. They've been stealing the AI, responsible for the COVID. We have to be very, very careful about giving stuff to China.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
It's the top news of the day.
China wants the oil from Iran.
They want to make a deal that's good for them and not piss us off too much.
President Trump is already transforming Washington, D.C., making it the safest, cleanest, and most beautiful city in the world. But we need fighters on the ground to keep it going. I'm John Fredericks, and I'm running for chairman of D.C. GOP Ward 2 to make sure Trump's vision for this city becomes a reality. Safe streets, clean neighborhoods, and yes, rat-free. Go to MakeDCGreat.com. That's MakeDCGreat.com right now and send a donation. Let's finish what President Trump started. Donation limit $200. I'm John Fredericks, and I paid for this ad.
Marcus was absolutely awful. That's about as PG rated as I can say it. He was awful. Our guards were awful. Our 3 starting guards had 1 assist and 7 turnovers. They must think it's a tax credit. It's unbelievable how our starting guards played. And let's talk about our big guys. 2 for 11. How can you go 2 for 11? My wife can score more than 2 buckets on 11 shots because I know my wife will at least shot fake 1 time. But those guys aren't listening. They're uncoachable right now. I'm struggling with this crew right now. They won't let me coach them. Anytime I coach somebody, they put their head down. We're soft. We've been enabled for whatever reason. I got a bunch of mama's boys right now. And we just won't buck up and bow our necks, and we got to get through that. I'm tired of coaching a guy and having him roll his eyes or put his head down or feel sorry for himself. I'm tired of that. I mean, this is big time. You know, people lose their jobs. You know, they don't put their head down. They go get another job. Guys get sick. They find a way to get healthy. You report to work. You report to duty. We got men and women serving our country. They don't get to take days off. You know, we're going to college and getting it paid for.
Sometimes in life, you have to put the numbers aside and ignore the odds. You have to make the tough choice. You have to try your best and to fight your hardest to win. Because the only thing worse than losing the biggest game of your life is losing respect for yourself along the way. I wish you nothing but the best of luck and the most courageous of choices on your journey. And I challenge you as graduates of this amazing institution to seek out more things that are just too hard. Things that will force you to grow beyond what you thought was possible for yourself, physically, mentally, or emotionally. I want you to challenge yourself with ideas that are uncomfortable and people who push you to be your very best. Even if one of those people is a cranky old coach who cuts the sleeves off his sweatshirt and screams at you all day, do your job. Okay, that's too specific into my experience. You guys get the point. The tests are over in school, thank God. But the tests in life, they never end. You will be tested every day. And those tests are the prep for the life that you want to live. My story can become your story, but yours will be unique, written by you. Remember this, testing your greatness always comes in the form of a contest, where preparation meets opportunity, and the winner is the one who just won't quit. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
He's the voice of Virginia.
No, you can't. You have one of the worst voices I've ever heard in my life.
And the commander of common sense.
Fire at will, Commander.
Now back to the John Fredericks Show.
What a great commencement speech that was by Tom Brady. Juxtapose that to Harrison Ford with his dark, awful, mean. I mean, what a great, inspiring speech from just a class act about, how to get outside the box, push yourself, do things you didn't think you could do, and then get there. And just a wonderful speech. Elaine Parker coming up momentarily. This segment is brought to you by our friends at the Wellness Company. Now, I got to tell you what, we got a lot of viruses going on in there. You got a new one, that Hanovirus. If you don't have your medical emergency kit now, I don't know what you're doing. This is the greatest thing you can do for you and your family. And it takes 15 minutes of your time. And it's one of these things where you don't need it until you need it. And then you don't have it. And you get these on hand. I've gone through 3 of these. We have 3. And I've gone through 3 replenishments since I've had them. Ann and I don't leave home without it. We don't travel without it because there's all kinds of things going on out there. And the greatest thing with it is you don't have to go to the doc in a box. You don't have to go to the emergency room. You don't have to go to the whatever those clinics are and, wait 3 hours, right? You don't have to make an appointment with your doctor. It's 2 weeks up. Everything is right at your fingertips with your medical emergency kit. So whatever ails you, there's a guidebook. You look it up, you read it. These are prescription medications, so you have to go through the online consultation with a medical professional, with a doctor, in order to get this. It takes about 10 minutes. They want to be sure that everything in here you're able to take, obviously, but you go through this and then you have it. And you and your family should always have this because there's nothing worse than being sick for a week or days when you could have prevented it, or it could have been a day and a half. I mean, Ann has been sick a number of times when we traveled, boom, pull this out. She's up and at him the next day. Same thing with Saxman, told you this story about his wife. This is one of the best investments you could ever make for you and your family, which is the Wellness Company Medical Emergency Kit. Get one today. Don't delay. Just go to twc.health/Godzilla, twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla, 10% off for you and your family. Peace of mind. Stay healthy out there. twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla, 10% off. Okay, before we get to Elaine, let's get to a phone call. He's back by popular demand. Anthony in Florida. Anthony, good to hear from you.
Good morning, John.
Hey.
Hey, by the way, love the commercial. Nice cat, and your wife's a hottie, man. Tell Ann she's hot, man.
I tell that every day.
You did marry up.
I told you. Did I not tell you I married up? Did I not tell you she's hot? I tell you that every day.
Congratulations, Drew. But down to business. Like I said, I disagree. Considerably on some fronts.
Go ahead.
On Massey, I think now I agree overwhelmingly. He won. They did the stats. A lot of the older generations, people over 50, they really turned out for him. A lot of the youth vote went for Massey. But I've got a problem with the $34 million that was jammed in there by the Jewish lobby. I got a big, big problem with that. I got a big problem with AIPAC. I got a big problem with their contributions and their money in our institutions. Israel should not be picking our representatives anywhere. They all that money, that was the most expensive. You can't ignore that. That was the most expensive campaign I've ever seen. And they won the day. I'll give you that. Your version of MAGA, you guys, the AIPAC and all that stuff, yeah, you won. A lot of the rhinos we got rid of, I agree with some of that. But I got a big problem with that. I don't want Jewish lobby anywhere in there. And of course, he got the Epstein files released, and I got a problem with the president with him calling a lot of people that were supporters, like MTG and all these guys that fought with us and, his supporters, the people that backed him, the people that came with him, that got him over the top. You know, like, all of a sudden, we're very stupid people. I got a problem with that. He used to be for the little guy. Now he looks more like the swamp himself. He looks more establishment than MAGA. And I know you guys are like, oh, you know, you panicking. Hey, just because I've got a different point of view, it's my opinion. And I'm a voter, and I'm out here with everybody else. So this is a republic, not some sort of patriarchy. So I disagree with what happened to Massey and the way it happened. Was he an arrogant jerk at times? Absolutely. You know, but not a fan of how this was done. Not a fan at all.
Well, I appreciate your input. AIPAC is a PAC like many other PACs. They pick their candidates. If you're anti-Semitic, they're going to go after you. They've played in races big where they've lost, the most recent one in New Jersey, where they were the biggest independent expenditure, and their candidate went down the tube. So, you know, I mean, they're going to win and lose. I don't really know what you know. I mean, if you vote pro-Israel, you vote pro-Israel. They have a right to spend the money under our laws to do that. But look, you said your piece. I'm glad Massey's out. I couldn't stand the guy ever. I couldn't stand him before Trump was there. I couldn't stand the guy. He's an obstructionist. He does nothing. Rand Paul does nothing. Like, give me something you've done. Like, what are you going to do? So I'm not a fan of those. You're not a fan of what happened. But we're on the same team, and we can agree to disagree. At the end of the day, we're in the 80% rule. You and I are going to vote the same way. We have the same objectives. We have the same desires. We have the same love for this country. We're both patriots. We're not always going to agree on the way to get there or what anybody's doing at any given time. But it's like Reagan said, right? I mean, if you're with me 80%, it's good enough for me. In the words of former Mayor Ed Koch, greatest mayor ever. Yes, Rudy, greatest mayor ever, Ed Koch, New York City. Here's what he said, Anthony. If you agree with me 80% of the time, send me a check. If you never agree with me, vote for the other guy. If you agree with me 100% of the time, see a psychiatrist. Ed Kochism. How am I doing? Anthony, thank you. Thank you for your input. Always interesting to hear your perspective, and I appreciate your involvement and your passion for what you believe in. Thank you. Thank you for the call. Let's get to Elaine Parker. Elaine, the Vice President, Communications, President of Communications, Job Creators Network. Go to joinjcn.com. Woman of many titles, joinjcn.com. The greatest organization for small business. First check, we write, Job Creators Network, because I know they're out there fighting for us every day. Elaine, jobs report up. That was good. I had, who did I have on the other day? Stephen Moore, who said, interesting quote, he said, the U.S. economy is itching to just bust out. We got to get out of this war. It's going to bust out. Reaction to that?
I agree with him. That's a great way to look at it. Jobs report, both March and April, actually blew away expectations. You wouldn't know it by any of the headlines because the media doesn't want to report on really the underlying economy is very strong. You know, and we talk about this every week, John. The thing that's holding this economy back is the inflation, which has been created by the turmoil in Iran and the cost of energy. So, you know, the vice president said it yesterday during the press conference that he held. And he told Americans that the price of energy is going to come down once this Iran conflict is over. And yes, I do believe that the economy will take off because the rocket fuel is there. It's just being held back by the conflict in Iran. And when you look at the jobs report 2 months in a row, blowing away expectations, if you look at the ADP report, which came in very strong, it shows it's being driven primarily by small businesses, which is what we always talk about, right, John? So, you know, we are primed and ready to go. We just need to get this Iran conflict over with.
And I think the president knows that. He's very close, we understand, from J.D. Vance yesterday said we're getting closer to a deal. Biggest problem they have there is they don't really know who's in charge. It's tough to negotiate with somebody when you don't know if they're the final authority. But I think the financial constraints we're putting them under with the blockade is really putting them in a tough position. So I think we're going to get there. And here's why this is going to blow up in the Democrats' face. Because all they've been saying here for 2 months is gas prices, gas prices, gas prices, gas prices. It's the end of the world, gas prices, gas prices. And then when they go down under what they were, what the hell are they going to say, Elaine?
They will find something else to criticize the president over. Don't you worry about that, John. But yeah, I mean, they never said a word when gas prices were over $5 a gallon.
That's my point.
Nationally.
Nothing.
Under Biden, they didn't. The only word they ever used was transitory, that it was temporary, it'd be over soon.
Right.
This is truly a transitory situation. This is truly a temporary situation that is being sparked by the conflict in Iran. Look, I don't want to see the president make a deal with the wrong people. You know, the reality is he's making a deal with the devil regardless, because you don't know who's in charge, and hopefully, regardless of what they agree to, for 50 years, we've watched them break agreements with different administrations. So hopefully we stay there long enough in this conflict to bring them to their knees and get them to abide by whatever agreement this administration gets with them.
Well, the catch-22 here that the Democrats are in is this war is going to end, right? And this is all they want to focus on is gas prices, when they don't have a leg to stand on, because, like you say, when it was $5 a gallon, they never even mentioned it, like it didn't even matter. But when that's all you do, and then it plummets in July or August, it just plummets. I mean, you look like an idiot. And then what do they then say? I mean, the economy is bad, affordability. When these gas prices go down under what they were, and when inflation continues to drop, and we get into the summer, and then we get into August, where people start feeling better about everything they're happening, which is going to be easy to do when you look at the growth we're having. This is why I'm so optimistic about us winning the midterms. I don't know what even the Democrats are going to run on, Elaine. What are they going to run on?
Well, I mean, look, first of all, whether you agree with us going into Iran and doing what we're doing with the administration, we're here now. And so imagine for us to get the right deal with the right group of people in Iran that can hold to the deal. Instead, what we see is literally people rooting for Iran, and that's disappointing in and of itself. In terms of what Democrats are going to run on, they're going to run on what they've always run on, and that's let's Trump. Anything having to do with Trump is bad. I mean, Trump at a press conference yesterday talking about another way to bring down the cost of prescription drugs in partnering with Mark Cuban. First of all, Mark Cuban was attacked relentlessly for partnering with the administration on allowing Americans to afford their prescription drugs in another way. And people don't want that simply because it has to do with Trump. I know people whose grown children signed up for Trump accounts, but they hate Trump. They'll sign up for the Trump accounts for their babies who qualified for it, but they hate Trump and they won't give him any credit for it. So when you say, what are they going to run on? They're going to run on hate Trump.
It's just not going to work. I mean, there's certainly a segment of TDS out there, but it's like here in Washington, D.C., where we've got one candidate running for mayor, Councilwoman Janice Lewis George. Maybe she'll win. Maybe she'll be the Democratic nominee. Maybe not. It's probably 50-50. But her whole platform is, I'm going to stop Trump. And I'm like, okay, stop him from what? Like what? Like, how does that make my life better? Right? He's made my life here better. I live here. It's better. It's safer. It's cleaner. The tents are gone. The homeless are in shelters. They're not dealing drugs on the street. They're getting the homeless off the sidewalks. They're getting rid of the panhandles that accosted you every 15 feet and were threatening. They cleaned up Metro. You can ride the Metro. What exactly are you going to do to improve my life? Nothing. You stop Trump. It's an insane way of looking at things. I just don't think at the end of the day, people are going to say, yeah, let's make our lives worse so we can stick it to the orange man bad. I mean, I just don't see it.
Well, I mean, look at the LA mayor's race, which I think is one of the most fascinating races to watch right now with Spencer Pratt. It's a nonpartisan race. It is a nonpartisan race. So, and because he's doing so well, what do they inject? He's a MAGA candidate. How? It's nonpartisan. How's he a MAGA candidate? It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the complete failure of an entire state up and down the all Democrats and blue state policy says he's living in a can't build how he built less than 50 houses since the fires. I mean, that's pathetic failure. And what do? They don't even point to each other. They just ignore the problem.
Yeah, the guy had to move in with trailer, and he's being attacked for being MAGA. I mean, it's like they have no solutions. This is their problem. They have no solutions, and when they do have a solution, it's communism. And this is why their hero is Mandami. And look, I don't take their movement, Elaine. I don't take Mandami or their movement lightly. They're trying to bring the same thing here to my city with Janice Lewis George, who is to the left of Mandami. She is a true communist. He's kind of a communist. She's a true communist. Hammer and his sickle type. But they have a movement. And they have a base, and that base is, hey, that person's got something. I want to take that. I want it. I don't want to do anything for it. I just want to take it. So go ahead and take it and give it to me. And when there isn't anything else to take, I'll riot. It's basically their policy.
It is a dangerous movement, and it's a violent movement. We've seen people die because of this movement. And, most recently with Mandami, he stood outside Ken Griffin's condo. I'm not here to defend a billionaire. I don't need to. But it doesn't change the fact that an executive was walking on the streets of New York and was shot in the back and killed. And there are people who are cheering on the murder of that executive. And Ken Griffin has every reason to be concerned when a politician stands outside his house and here's where this guy lives, come get him.
I hadn't thought of that. He did stand out in front of his house. And then remember on that video where you looked right in the camera, you got his face right up to the camera and said, listen to me, I'm going to take your money. I'm going to take your home. I mean, this is the mayor of New York City. I mean, I was like, where are we going with this? I just don't see how they possibly get a majority of voters to buy into this, because eventually you start taking everything that everybody else has, and eventually they don't have anything else to take, and then the riots start. That's always the way it works.
Well,
so it's just
I also read Starbucks is moving its headquarters out of Seattle, and that the mayor of Seattle, remember what she said? They said, are you worried that you're going to run the millionaires and billionaires out? And she said, bye, good luck. Well, they're leaving. They're taking their entire company and all those jobs. I mean, that's where Starbucks was born, and it's leaving the state that it was born in. And you have to look at that as a politician and how these policies and money out of their states. I watched Gavin Newsom in an interview, and he was asked, aren't you concerned that people are moving out of your state because of the high cost of living? Your own mother has said publicly that she can't afford things. You just talked about your mom. And he ignored the question. He just started talking about how they're the fourth largest economy in the world and how great California is doing. How do you ignore actual statistics and economic reports about your own state as a result of your own policies? And people are leaving because of it.
And they're going to continue to do that. And so people are voting with their feet. They're just getting out. And when the capital flows out and the tax base flows out, you got to keep taxing higher the people that stay there, which then forces them to get out until there's no money, and then the riots start. And that is exactly what's going to happen in all these cities. because this is what we're telling this is what they're telling their constituents. Don't do anything. You don't have to work. We'll take their money and give it to you till it runs out. Elaine, I got to go. People want to follow you. Where do they go?
They can go to jobcreatorsnetwork.com and sign up for our newsletter. And if they want to join us, they can go to joinjcn.com.
Thank you, Elaine. Thanks for being with us here on the John Fredericks Media Network. Your calls when you get back. Stay with us.
WJFN W224EB 92.7 FM Chester, W299DB 107.7 Barnair, 100.5 FM Goochland, and WJFB Portsmouth.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. The results are in this morning, and yesterday's primaries provide more evidence that President Trump's endorsement carries a lot of weight among Republican voters. In Kentucky, Ed Galrine trounced incumbent GOP Congressman Thomas Massey. Galrine says time to get to work.
Now my focus is on advancing the president's and the party's agenda to put America first and Kentucky always.
Massey says he is proud of the campaign he ran and the support he received from young voters.
I mean, we stirred up something. There is a yearning in this country for somebody who will vote for principles over party.
Warm words exchanged between Russian President Putin and Chinese President Xi as Putin pays a state visit to Beijing. Face of rising energy prices, Britain is backing off some of its sanctions on Russia.
For years, the UK's led international efforts to put economic pressure on Russia for its war on Ukraine. Yet last night, the Department for Trade and Business slipped out a formal notice announcing some sanctions were being watered down. Since October, the UK had banned the import of diesel and jet fuel refined from Russian crude oil in third countries. That ban will from today be lifted indefinitely. Some sanctions on the transport of Russian gas were also lifted. Both measures reflect growing concerns about the rising price of fuel following Iran's blockade of the Strait of Hormuz.
The BBC's James Landale, head of the World Health Organization, says the risk of the spread of Ebola in Congo and Uganda is high at the national and regional levels, but low at the global level. 51 confirmed cases in Congo so far, almost 600 suspected cases. On Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures 81 points higher, NASDAQ futures up 150 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Health insurance rates are surging in America, leaving millions without affordable options. If you're sick of having paychecks eaten up by healthcare costs or dealing with mega corporations, then listen to this. Christians don't need to waste money on a broken system. That's why I want to tell you about Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's an alternative to traditional health insurance at half the cost. With CHM, fellow believers contribute monthly to help pay each other's medical bills. There's no enrollment period, so you can join anytime. And you aren't restricted to provider networks, so you choose the doctors and hospitals you want. It's that simple. CHM is not insurance. It's a ministry that puts faith into action. Feel the difference of financial support and biblical care from fellow believers. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
Taiwan's president is hoping that President Trump will greenlight additional arms sales to the island democracy.
Taiwan President Lai Ching-te said if given the chance, he would tell President Donald Trump that he hopes to continue U.S. arms purchases while assuring people the island's future would not be decided by external forces. Lai tells a news conference, the Republic of China, Taiwan's official name, is a sovereign and independent country. No country has the right to annex Taiwan. Therefore, we look forward to Taiwan cooperating with the U.S. and democratic countries to promote peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait, alleging China is the destroyer of the Strait's peace. Arms purchases from the US, he adds, would be an essential means to safeguard the Strait's stability. Lai says he believes only strength can bring peace. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Divers have recovered the last two bodies of the 4 Italians who died deep inside an underwater cave in the Maldives. Townhall.com. A Senate Republican spurned by President Trump joined Senate Democrats, providing the key vote to advance a war powers resolution through a key hurdle.
Louisiana Republican Senator Bill Cassidy, who lost his primary bid over the weekend, sided with Senate Democrats in a war of attrition to curtail President Donald Trump's policing powers in the Middle East. It comes after Democrats successfully gained another defector, Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, last week. The Democrats' gambit finally worked after 7 failed tries, with 4 Senate Republicans joining them to move the measure forward. But there's still a long way to go before the resolution becomes official. And even if it were to succeed, Democrats likely do not have a veto-proof coalition to counter President Trump. Bernie Bennett, Washington.
Authorities say the 2 teenagers who shot and killed 3 people in the attack on a San Diego mosque had been radicalized online where they first met. Investigators say they left behind writings expressing hatred of various races and religions. Townhall.com.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Trouble concentrating or recalling information is frustrating, embarrassing, and kills productivity. Nutrition company Healthy Cell created Focus and Recall to boost your brain power. Unlike other supplements that don't work, Focus and Recall is not a pill. It's a gel you swallow with ultra absorption of science-backed ingredients to help you immediately sharpen focus, concentrate longer, and strengthen recall. Go to healthycell.com and use code Godzilla for 20% off your first order. Risk-free. Love it or your money back. Guaranteed. Healthycell.com. Code Godzilla.
Ponder this. We intake oxygen every time we breathe, and breathing is how we stay alive. When God first created man, he breathed life into him. Our Lord also breathed spiritual life into his apostles and filled them with the Holy Spirit at the first Pentecost. Oxygen is a source of life both physically and spiritually. It's the same with fire. Oxygen is needed in order to keep a fire burning, which begs the question, are you on fire for the Lord, or has your spiritual oxygen been extinguished? To answer this, we must go to the source. The source of our spiritual oxygen is the Lord himself. Without him, there is no life within us. Those are his words, not mine. We are called to tap into this life source by baptism, daily prayer, and receiving the sacraments, especially Holy Communion if you are a Catholic, in the state of grace. If we tap into this life source every day, our lives will be filled with the love of the Lord, our spiritual oxygen. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
How much did you win at Rosie's Gaming Emporium?
Hi, I'm Jerry from Richmond. I won a $23,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
I'm Tammy. I'm from Newport News, and I just won a $5,400 jackpot from Rosie's.
Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm from West Virginia, and I won $99,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
Are you ready? Learn more about Rosie's rewards and jackpots at rosiesgaming.com. Must be 18 or older. Problem gambling? Call 1-888-532-3500.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, regular $69.98. Now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale only $14.98. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's gonna ship absolutely free.
To take advantage of the second annual mega sale, go to mypillow.com or call 800-854-0504 and use promo code Godzilla.
I would rather play with 10 people and just get penalized all the way until we got to do something else, rather than play with 11 when I know that right now that person is not sold out to be a part of this team. It is more about them than it is about the team. cannot play with him, cannot win with him, cannot coach with him, can't do it.
He's your Godzilla of the truth in America. No gibberish or nonsense, just common sense. And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
You got him. John Fredericks Media Network. Thanks for having me. I am your Godzilla of the truth in America. Truth and clarity. MAGA rules, baby. Terrific Tuesday. Results off the charts. Ken Paxton getting the endorsement of President Donald J. Trump. Smart move, Mr. Trump. President Trump. Great idea. Certainly better than endorsing Cornyn, which La Savita wanted you to do. We all love Chris, but sorry, you made your 20 million, 10 million, whatever it is. Good for you. It's a free country. But Paxton is MAGA 2.0, baby. It is the next rendition of MAGA. So happy about the endorsement. Now he's going to win by 15. This thing's not going to be close. It's a blowout. It was going to be a blowout anyway, but now even worse. Also, I'm now predicting Chip Roy is going to win that Attorney General's race. He was down. Now he's closing. Chip Roy closing. And even though he's had his problems with Trump and the Freedom Caucus and a couple issues, you know what? He's MAGA through and through. And I think even though he's been outspent, I think Chip Roy comes back, wins this race, and he's going to be an outstanding Attorney General in Texas. Texas is a place to go, man. You got Paxton, you got Roy. It's going to be a lot of fun there. Meantime, I'm no fan of Tommy Massey. Here's your hat. What's your hurry? Don't let the door hit you in the keister on the way out. Not a fan. Never have been. Even before Trump, never liked him. Obstructionist. I don't even know what the guy does in there. Pain in my, just a pain. And I'm not a libertarian. I don't believe in their policies. I don't believe in anything he did. And so I'm glad he's out. And I don't care how much money it costs. Good riddance. That's a MAGA seat. It's a Republican seat. It should be our seat. We have it. And got a Navy SEAL in there. Is going to vote with us 100% of the time. This is what we're looking for, team players. And so I'm in a good mood today. I'm fired up. We had a great day yesterday. Great press conference by J.D. Vance, though we had to deal with the libtards in the first three rows at the packed press briefing where you couldn't even breathe in there, asking me about the $1.7 million fund and why are taxpayers paying for this. We'll get into all that with Morgan Griffith, who is coming up next. And before we do that, this segment brought to you by Vapor Technology. Put our little screen up there, Danny, if you will. Look, Trump got the vape vote in 2024. We actually went after it. And those of us that, have to vape and did it to quit smoking, I smoked a pack and a half of these a day. I got them right here on my desk. American Spirit Blue, pack and a half a day. A carton a week. 12 packs in a carton. Smoked them all. End of that week, carton was gone. Not good at my age and overweight, and you're smoking a pack and a half a day. Went to the doctor. Finally, he's like, dude, you want to see your son pitch in the minor leagues? You got to dump these. And you got to lose weight. Otherwise, not a likely scenario, young fella. Of course, I was in my late 50s at the time, so I appreciate the compliment. But I still have my pack of American Spirit Blue here. I got one on my desk. I've got one that I travel with, just in case things go south. In case like Cornyn wins or something, you just might have to snap that pack open. Other than that, vape's the way to go. And you know what? The Biden administration and the liberal, they're all trying to get rid of the vaping industry. Why? Big tobacco money, lobbyist money. They drive up, limos, come out, $15,000 Italian Armani suits, $20,000 Rolex watches, right? That's all they do. Cancer stick lobby wants to crush the vaping industry. They don't like small business. They don't like the competition. So they want to crush it. Plus, people that vape, guess what they don't do? Smoke cigarettes. Now, it's not the best thing for you, but it's better than those. Guaranteed. More information, go to vaportechnology.org. That's vaportechnology.org. Again, vaportechnology.org. And this message has been paid for by Vapor Technology. We thank them for this message. Joining me now, the one and only Morgan Griffith. Oh, by the way, let's put that graphic up. Guess who's one of my featured speakers at our victory party on June 16th at the iconic City Tavern, where we understand George Washington went for beers. None other than Congressman 9th District Morgan Griffith. Now he's in good company. U.S. Treasurer Brandon Beach is going to be there, and longtime GOP strategist and Trump Inner Circle bestseller, New York Times 2 times, Corey Lewandowski, also going to be there. Morgan, we're going to have so much fun. Thanks for joining us there. I really appreciate that. You're going to have a blast.
I'm looking forward to it. I am looking forward to it. And I got to tell you, I skimmed over your rat elimination newsletter, and I kind of like that carbon dioxide idea, but how do you get the dead rats out of the hole? That's the question, I guess.
Decompose.
Anyway.
They just decompose down there. That's it. Dead.
All right.
Cover up the hole. They decompose and they go in the dirt and help the soil grow. That's it. And but you got to pump that carbon monoxide in, and then you got to there's this new thing that makes rats sterile, so they still do what rats do, female and male rats. This is a family show, but they can't reproduce. So there's no baby rats. And then eventually the rat colony dies out. They just die. And then there's no more rats. And then to get the residue, you bring the cats in like my cat did. He's got 2 of them already, but, he's getting a little long in the tooth. Plus, when he gets a rat, you got to take him to the vet to get a rabies shot, $150. I'll go broke. So we can't be doing that. But Sammy did his part. But thank you for the compliment on that. So, listen, your friend Jimmy Massey, Tommy, whatever his name is, gone. What was your reaction to that, Tommy Massey?
Well, I've always liked him. You and I have disagreed on that. He's a very smart individual, but the voters spoke, and he lost his primary, and that's the way it goes sometimes.
Okay, well, we'll leave it at that. All right, look, I'm in the press conference yesterday, and all the questions focused on the $1.7 billion potential payout for those that have been harmed by the weaponization of the Department of Justice, many on J6. A lot of the questions centered on, why are we giving taxpayer money to people that participated in a riot, that might have assaulted an officer? Vance's answer, we're going to do this on a case-by-case basis. He kept getting asked the same question 5 different ways. What is your reaction to this?
Look, if somebody assaulted an officer, then they shouldn't get a penny. And I agree with the case-by-case basis, because the problem is you also had people who, went into the building when they shouldn't have, but even the Democrats admit that there were some people who were just kind of wandering around. I mean, and that was the vast majority of them. Assaulting a police officer, different story. Now, that said, you should have heard the Democrats in rules last night just going nuts. They want to know how they could do this without congressional action. And I leaned over to Austin Scott, who I was sitting next to, and I said, now they're against sue and settle. I mean, we've had problems with the left doing what we call sue and settle. Somebody sues, and then they reach a settlement that has given all kinds of environmental authority and money, et cetera, to liberal third-party NGO-type groups that then go out and use that money for other purposes. And sometimes it's even an invited suit by the Democrat administration. And this has been going on for at least a couple of decades. And we've been complaining about it for years. What Trump did was he flipped the table on him, flipped the script, and he did it. And if you want to stop it, and I think we probably should, that's fine. But as long as you're going to use that as a tool to move forward leftist agenda items, you better expect the right to do the same thing. And we've got to start learning that if we want to change the rules, fine. But if we don't have the votes, whether it be because of Senate rules or in the modern filibuster rule or whatever, if we can't change the rules, then we have to play by the rules. And these are the rules that Democrats have been playing by for at least a couple of decades. And we're playing by them now. And if that means that people get their lawyers' fees back when they were found not guilty, if it means that some of the people who literally showed up near the end of the January 6th disruption and kind of wandered through the Capitol but had their picture taken and ended up getting charged with a misdemeanor, then okay. But don't complain about the process when it's a process that you all on the left have used and used it for a long, long time. If you want to change the rules, let's talk about it. I'm happy to change the rules because sue and settle is a bad thing because it allows non-elected officials to make all kinds of decisions. But don't complain to me about it when you've been doing it yourselves.
What did Austin Scott say to that?
He nodded and grinned. I think he said something on the affirmative side, but I don't remember the exact wording.
Austin's a good guy. I go back with him in Georgia when he ran for governor. Oh God, many years ago, I ran Ann and I owned I think the Beacon was a newspaper called the Beacon, and he walked the state. He started in the northernmost part and walked. I think it took him like the summer, 3 months all the way to Savannah. I'm like, okay, dude, that's campaigning. So he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's been there a while. Morgan Griffith with us, member of the Freedom Caucus, Congressman, Republican, 9th District, Virginia. That's Southwest Virginia. Basically goes from Salem down to the Tennessee-Kentucky triangle there. Congressman, the War Powers Act, Cassidy now voting against the president in the Senate. Where do we stand in the House? The Democrats are saying they have enough Republicans now in the House where Trump is going to have to now go back to Congress to get this war authorized. Where are we with that, sir?
Well, we had a vote, not this week, but the last week we were in, and it was a tie vote. The motion to deny the president authority died on a tie vote. So it's close. The Democrats might have the votes. The president needs to get over here and do some chatting.
So he's only got, he doesn't have any margin, right? So if they gain another, did any Democrats vote to not deny the president?
That I don't recall, but I believe, I don't recall. I mean, if there were any, it was probably one.
Right.
I don't remember. I didn't look for the Democrats. I was just appreciative that we got it defeated, but it was a tie vote. And of course, as you know, in the legislative process, a tie vote in the House is a loss for the people who were moving the motion.
Right. So basically, if it comes up again next week, and the Democrats are now saying that they have another Republican, then that will change the outcome. Obviously, they would win by, I guess, one vote, right? Yeah, one vote. So not much room for error there, Morgan.
No, there's not, and that's why I say the president and his team need to be looking at this and figuring out, what they can do to forestall that.
Let's get to the SAVE Act going in reconciliation. I know you're not an expert on the Senate parliamentarian, but you're a lawyer, so you kind of get this stuff. I know that Johnson's trying to do that. Reaction to that? How's that going to work?
I think that would be great. And what you've got to show is you've got to show the economic impact and that it makes some sense on the budget to make it so.
And do you feel
they've got to tie it in? I'm sure the speaker can do it. He's got a team of experts, and I'm sure they can figure it out. That doesn't look. The parliamentarian makes some crazy rulings over there. So not only am I not going to claim to be an expert, but I will tell you that they make rulings that are nonsensical. We had a measure in reconciliation number 1 where it was created in a reconciliation bill, and the Senate parliamentarian ruled you couldn't uncreate it or recreate it in a reconciliation rule. Well, wait a minute. How did it get through then when Obama was president? I don't know. But to me, if you have a rule and it allows you to do something, you ought to be able to do it again, or you ought to be able to recreate it, or you ought to be able to undo it in the same type of bill. And the parliamentarian said no. So I can't, not only do I not claim to be an expert, but it is very confusing and convoluted. And it sounds like to me, it just depends on who the parliamentarian is, which the Republicans could change, but they've chosen not to.
Of course they chose not to, because they don't want to deal with it. They don't have to deal with it, right? Because the parliamentarian can just get him off the hook. In the famous words of in the famous words of the former, now deceased Arizona football coach Dennis Green, we let him off the hook. So they don't want to be on the hook for a vote. That's why they don't. That's why they like that parliamentarian, so they don't have to be on the hook for the vote. I mean, you can figure this stuff out in 7 seconds if you just cover it. I mean, that's why they want that parliamentarian there. So the reason that
that's why they don't.
Go ahead.
That's why they don't get rid of the modern filibuster rule.
Bingo.
It allows them to hide from the tough votes.
That's exactly it. That's why they don't get rid of the filibuster. That's why they don't get rid of the parliamentarian. They don't have to vote, because if this thing gets into reconciliation, they have to vote, and we can only afford to lose 3 senators. We've already lost what? Tillis out. Who's the other one? Murkowski's out. She's voting no. I guess McConnell, even though I'm not sure he knows what he's doing in there. And I'm not saying that to be mean. It's just dementia set in. So I'm not sure what he's doing. But he said, or his staff people said no. That's 4. Then there's somebody else. Who knows what Cassidy will do. But it gets them on the record, right? And they don't even want that vote going on the floor because they don't want to be on the record. That's the problem. All right.
Yep.
Let's get to a tough issue, because I know you love tackling tough issues. This is a tough issue. So many of us, like yourself, are not in favor of members of Congress being able to freely trade stocks. They made a lot of money off it. We've seen a lot of different things that people go in, they're barely making it. They're there a while. Now they're worth millions of dollars. Okay. Not going to accuse anybody of insider trading, but they certainly do very, very well. So there's a bill, and Trump is in favor of it, to just get rid of it. Like, you can't do it. You go to Congress, you can't own stock because you get too much inside information. I was appalled, and I love the speaker. I was appalled by what he said the other day. He said, well, there hasn't been a pay increase here in so many years, and people are struggling on the $180,000 salary. They have to maintain 2 homes. People are really struggling, to make ends meet here. And so, that's what I'm opposed to this. Okay. Well,
the two are not connected. Let me just say that the two should not be connected.
But he connected them.
You can make that. I know, but you shouldn't have done that. And look, I'm going to give the speaker grace. He's gotten more done than I ever thought he could get done.
Yes.
He got that reconciliation bill in, and I'm going to guess that he was extremely tired and got a question somehow, either that he wasn't anticipating at that moment or that he was just tired and wasn't thinking. I just think we have to, give him some grace there. But the two issues are not connected. They're separate issues. And so your listeners will know, shortly after coming to Congress, I sold all my shares of publicly traded stock. And there is a distinction between private stock and publicly traded stock. Now, so I'm not taking on any airs or giving people false impressions. We sold my entire portfolio, and I have no idea what Hillary did with my $6,000, but I didn't have much. But I didn't want anybody to accuse me of trying to wheel and deal. I do think that members who come with stock already in hand should be able to keep that stock. They just can't deal with it. There's a bill that I think does a nice job. Sorry about the street noise. but there's a bill that does a nice job. It says you can't buy any more stock, and if you want to sell some of your existing stock, you have to give notice. I forget now whether it's 10 or 14 days in advance, so that anybody else who wants to sell their stock can do the same thing. So that if you've got some kind of insider information, everybody else will have it too. And I think that works pretty well. So you can't buy any new stuff. And if you sell, you have to give notice in advance so everybody has the same knowledge or knows that you're getting ready to sell and they can question why.
I like that bill. Has it gotten out of committee? Does it have any traction?
It does have traction on the Republican side. And I voted on it in committee, whether it's, I can't remember this morning whether it's out of House admin or not, but I know we voted on it at one point, so I think it is.
Did you get any Democrat votes?
No.
Why?
You know, it's a Republican bill, and they consistently this term, and particularly at this point, if it says Republican on it, they're going to be against it. They're going to say, well, we'll do better. We can do even better when we take control. They won't, but, you know, it's easy to poke and say, oh, no, let's wait and we'll do better, and then it won't happen. So,
all right. We're out of time.
Right now in this term.
You got a heart out. You got to get to a meeting, so I'm going to let you go. But I do want to give a shout out to your comms director, who's his longevity is, I think he's setting a record there, Jackson Krug. He's a great guy. Really does a great job.
Yeah.
And tell him to stay, because we like him. We like him. Tina works.
We're going to try to keep him.
You got to keep him. Yeah. Just, show him the love, right? You got to keep him, because too many of these comms directors, they bounce around, and I don't know what happens to them, but he's really good, Morgan. He represents you well. And
thank you.
The thing I love about him is he gets out. Like, I don't know how many events I've seen this guy at. I'm like, this guy works, and he represents you well. He gets out to events, handing out your cards and things like that. And he always gets back to me. He's a great guy. So he's the keeper. Jackson Krug, baby. Let's go. Morgan, thanks for being with us. You want to follow Griffith, you go to griffith.house.gov, griffith.house.gov.
Mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our MyPillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our MyPillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door, absolutely free.
Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-854-0504 and use promo code Godzilla to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging supplements clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
President Trump is already transforming Washington, D.C., making it the safest, cleanest, and most beautiful city in the world. But we need fighters on the ground to keep it going. I'm John Fredericks, and I'm running for chairman of D.C. GOP Ward 2 to make sure Trump's vision for this city becomes a reality. Safe streets, clean neighborhoods, and yes, rat-free. Go to MakeDCGreat.com. That's MakeDCGreat.com right now and send a donation. Let's finish what President Trump started. Donation limit $200. I'm John Fredericks, and I paid for this ad.
How much did you win at Rosie's Gaming Emporium?
Hi, I'm Jerry from Richmond. I won a $23,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
I'm Tammy. I'm from Newport News, and I just won a $5,400 jackpot from Rosie's.
Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm from West Virginia, and I won $99,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
Are you ready? Learn more about Rosie's rewards and jackpots at rosiesgaming.com. Must be 18 or older. Problem gambling? Call 1-888-532-3500.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Solti almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Solti. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Solti, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
Mike, at any point in your coaching career, did you ever have an interest or express an interest in being a head coach in the college game? And do you have any idea how that may or may not have led to folks like Ryan and Doug Whaley and Carson Palmer connecting you to some college jobs?
Hey, guys, I don't have time for that speculation. I mean, that's a joke to me. I got one of the best jobs in all of professional sport. Why would I have any interest in coaching college football? That'll be the last time that I address it. And not only today, but moving forward. Never say never, but never. Okay? Anybody else got any questions about any college jobs? There's not a booster with a big enough blank check.
Anyone else? All right.
Thank you. Anybody asking Sean Payton about that? You know, anybody asking Andy Reid about stuff like that?
Don't touch that dial. You found your home of the truth.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With the best analysis in America.
You can't handle the truth.
And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
You're back at me on the John Fredericks Media Network, trucking the truth across America. I am your Godzilla of the truth. Well, Pennsylvania Posse, that's on Mondays. Not this Monday coming up, obviously, because of the holiday. But we're going to be covering Pennsylvania in depth. Also in Philadelphia, we've picked up coverage this season of the New York Yankees. So AM 740, WJFP 103.3 FM in New Jersey. And you can download our app right there, Liberty Radio. Just go to Liberty Radio App Store, download our app, and you get all the Yankees games there in Philadelphia, just to drive the Phillies fans absolutely back-crap crazy. But they're in a different league, so nobody cares. Plus, they got beat last night by the Reds. And if you went to GodzillaWins.com, I bet the Phillies, and I went down the tubes. But I'm going to bet them again today because they're on a heater. And so, one game you gotta ride it out a little bit. Who else is on a heater? Stacey Garrity. She is now the official gubernatorial candidate of the Republican Party in Pennsylvania. And got to put all this nonsense behind his write-ins and this and that and whatever was done with that nomination. All that's in the rearview mirror. Stacey Garrity. Let me tell you about Stacey. 100% MAGA. True MAGA, 100%. Solid conservative. I got to spend time with her at the Milwaukee convention. She was one of the delegates there. Absolutely fantastic. Ann and I enjoyed our time with her. She's solid. She also, people don't know this, Stacey Garrity is treasurer of Pennsylvania, Republican. She got the most statewide votes of any candidate ever in Keystone State history. And if there's anybody that is poised to take on Josh Shapiro and his presidential primary nomination tour, it is Pennsylvania Treasurer Stacey Garrity, now the official nominee of the Republican Party of Pennsylvania. Stacey, thanks for being with us.
Hey, John. Great to see you again.
Super win last night. I mean, you really didn't have competition, but there was a lot of sniping going back and forth. That's all in the rearview mirror, right? Now you got to move forward. It's all in the rearview mirror. We're going to put the coalition together. You're going to get 100% grassroots backing. You're 100% MAGA. You saw our victories last night. Massey gone. Sia, Trump backing Paxton. Certainly you're going to get his enthusiastic endorsement in the next week or so. And I really look forward to you running a great. I don't think Shapiro is really going to know how to deal with you in this campaign, Stacey.
No, I don't think he is. I did get endorsed by President Trump twice. So he even re-endorsed me. Gosh, he endorsed me in January, and then he re-endorsed me, I think, the day before the primary. And then he put out a ticket of everybody he endorsed, which was me and all the congressional delegation minus Fitzpatrick.
Right. And look, I know Fitzpatrick's in a tough seat, right? So I'm for Fitzpatrick. He doesn't vote with us 100% of the time, but in the district he represents, Bucks County, he can't. And I think he does a good job for this situation he's in. And I'm going to be having him on my show and hoping he wins. We got to hold that seat and three others.
Yeah.
Let's go to your campaign against Josh Shapiro. He's got more money. He's ahead right now in the polls, but it's early. And now you're the nominee. Walk us through how you close this gap, Stacey.
Right. Well, first of all, there couldn't be a bigger contrast, right? Because he has spent his life as a career politician. He's run for office, 10 times, 11 if you count. I think he ran for class president. And I've spent my entire life in service. This is as you know, John, this is my first public office, but not my first stint in public service. I spent 30 years in the Army Reserve. So 3 deployments, all to the Middle East: Operation Desert Storm, Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom. Had I not hit my mandatory retirement date in 2016, I would have never even thought about running for Pennsylvania State Treasurer, because serving was and is the honor of my lifetime. Also spent 3 decades in the private sector in manufacturing. And so I understand what it's like to sign the front of a paycheck, not just the back of a paycheck. I've helped create jobs. I've pushed the U.S. industrial base. So there couldn't be a clear contrast between the two of us. Also, think about this. He's never really had a serious challenge. He's never even had a negative ad run against him in a decade. And so when you're Josh Shapiro, you start to believe that it's all about you, and you forget about the people that elected you that you're supposed to be serving. And so there isn't enough money in the world that is going to stop us from, getting our message out. And there are so many scandals. There's so much corruption, not only in the governorship, but also during his time as Attorney General, when he was, lockstep with Governor Tom Wolf during COVID. So, he's obviously more focused on Pennsylvania Avenue than helping Pennsylvania families. And I think that's apparent when you look at him, because, why else does he support boys competing against girls in sports, gender affirming care for trans little kids using your taxpayer dollars? And there's so much. I mean, the guy is absolutely not a moderate. And if you don't believe that, think about what happened in Virginia, right? With Abigail Spanberger, ran as a moderate, sound familiar, and then went so far to the left. And that's exactly what he will do, because, as you said, he is laser focused on getting the trifecta and flipping those 4 U.S. House seats that are vulnerable.
And look, that's going to be a tough fight. This is why your campaign is so critical to the president and to the House and to the country, because not only to be Pennsylvania governor, but a big vote for Stacey Garrity at the top of the ticket is going to help 4 very tough congressional races. We could win all 4, lose all 4, split it, go 3-1, won 3. All of these are up for grabs, and a big showing for Stacey Garrity at the top of that ticket is going to make a difference. I think this gap with Shapiro is going to close. At the end of the day, they're not going to know what to do with you. I remember talking to our former chairman of the Pennsylvania GOP when you were first thinking about running for governor, and great guy by the way, lawyer, just a salt of the earth guy. And I remember having a conversation with him, and he's like, "Well," I'm like, "What do you think?" And he said, "Shapiro's worst nightmare is Stacey Garrity." Like, and this is when, Dan was talking about running and Mastriano was talking about running, things like that. And I agreed with him. And he said, because Shapiro's he's not going to know what to do, right? She's a veteran. She served. She got more votes than anybody. She's run the state like on the top. It's perfect. There's no, everything, funding is perfect. He can't do to her what he did to Mastriano. And so I think that's why you start to close the gap. Give us the 3 things that you're going to do that are going to make Pennsylvania's life better under Governor Stacey Garrity than Josh.
Oh, there are so many things. So first of all, school choice, right? Josh Shapiro has held not 1, not 2, but 3 positions on it. So as you know, he was for it. He ran on it. Then line item vetoed it and now says, well, I have a split legislature. I can't do anything about it. So we will absolutely have school choice. And then day 1, we will also opt into the federal program. So basically by not opting into this federal school choice, which is federal EITC, we are cutting money from Pennsylvania kids. That's who we're hurting all over politics. And that is inexcusable. So school choice, because parents, not bureaucrats, should decide the best way to educate their kids. And, it's not a cookie cutter model. I grew up in public schools. I love them. But, again, your zip code should determine your child's success. Unleashing the natural resources. I mean, we have natural resources that are the envy of the world. We are the Saudi Arabia of natural gas. And we haven't had any new power generation in 12 years, which is ridiculous. And so just unleashing that is going to create 250,000 jobs and create $5 billion in revenue that, guess what? We spend $5 billion more than what we bring in. So another thing, getting our house in order, we have to be fiscally responsible. I mean, Josh Shapiro brags about how much money we're spending. We spend $9 billion more a year than when he first came into office. That's a 25% increase, and we cannot afford it. So families have to live within their means. Businesses too. Our state government should be doing the same thing. And then regulations. We are far too regulated. I mean, we are not a business-friendly Commonwealth. And that's got to change. For any new regulation, we have to get rid of 2. And we have to do a review from top to bottom. So those are just a few things. But there's so much more. There's so much low-hanging fruit, Johnny, as you know. I mean, our state ranks 38th economically. We rank 39th in education, although top 10 in spending. We rank 41st overall. We have 3,000 deficient bridges. Our infrastructure is a C-. And it doesn't have to be this way. It just doesn't. And I think Pennsylvanians are starting to wake up and understand that we are at a fork in the road. We're at a crossroads, and we have to decide, what kind of state do we want to be? Do we want to be a state that works for politicians? Or are we going to be a state that works for families? Are we going to be a state where, families are opening up their utility bills at the end of the month with dread because they're going up, up, up? Or are we going to unleash, like we just talked about, that liquid gold under our feet and use Pennsylvania energy to power Pennsylvania's future? And we want our kids to have opportunity. We rank the 6th highest with people leaving the state. So the guy that's chasing people out of our state wants a promotion. Well, you know what? We want our children and grandchildren to have opportunities to stay in Pennsylvania, raise their families in Pennsylvania, and start businesses in Pennsylvania. And we can do it.
You know what? That's a very passionate. That's a very passionate rendition of what you're going to do. Let's get to affordability, right? Because people are hurting in Pennsylvania. And by the way, just sidebar, I agree with your crumbling infrastructure. But when I took our bus tour across Pennsylvania for Trump in 24, working with Ashley Walukovich and the team, and you also. We were out there from Labor Day until Election Day. I mean, when we got through riding around Pennsylvania, my bus repairs were $10,000. The thing was just tore up. The roads there are so bad. So you got to fix those. But let's get to how are you going to make life more affordable for Pennsylvanians?
Okay, so there's several things. So first of all, we figured out we have a plan to reduce property taxes by a third. So we can't eliminate them right off the bat because we have a revenue issue. Or actually, we have a spending issue. John, I shouldn't say we have a revenue issue. So we have a spending issue. So first, we have to get our structural deficit corrected. But we can, without raising any other taxes, decrease property taxes by a third. Also, we can reduce the price of your utility bills by 25%. And a lot of that is just getting out of the alternatives. We spend over $700 million a year in alternatives, wind and solar. And Josh Shapiro's new lightning plan, by the way, bumps that up by like 335%, a crazy, crazy number. And that $700 million is on the backs of ratepayers. And then if you look at your electric bill, there are, tax upon tax, all these hidden taxes. And so there is absolutely a way to lower those. And then a 3-month holiday on gas tax.
3-month holiday.
Absolutely.
Right. Starting immediately, day one.
Yes, day one.
Okay. And when you talked about unleashing that, we haven't done any energy release in over a decade, 12
years.
Tell us about the 250,000 jobs, good paying jobs. How did you come to that number, Stacey?
Oh, we calculated it. We have a spreadsheet. It involves basically pipeline, new development, LNG. So, can you imagine if we get it to Philadelphia, you cool it down so then you can ship it, and so that then the world is buying, energy from Pennsylvania, not from those other bad actors. There is so much opportunity, John. It's just that we are not taking advantage of the blessings that we have here in our beautiful Commonwealth.
Stacey Garrity with us. Stacey Garrity, the Republican nominee for governor for Pennsylvania. She'll go up against Josh Shapiro in November. This, I'm predicting, is going to be a much tighter race than people are seeing now. She's going to be able to raise the money to compete. Now, she's going to get outspent, but spending doesn't always matter in these races. And Trump carried Pennsylvania in 2024, got 38% of the early voting, so you got an early vote for Stacey. But there's going to be a big turnout there, and I know we're going to get our Trump voters out. Stacey, I want to get to Philadelphia chaos and crime. As governor, obviously, the Philadelphia DA is not doing anything. It's almost like they're pro-criminal when you hear some of the speeches. All they do is rail on Trump. If you're governor, what are you going to do to step in about the alarming crime wave going on the streets of Philadelphia?
Well, the most important thing as governor is to make sure that your streets are safe, right? And so, we have, I think it's, is it 3 sanctuary counties and then 12 cities? It's ridiculous. So for one thing, we have to cooperate with we need cooperation at every level of law enforcement, right? And that's how we keep our community safe, the criminals safe, our law enforcement safe. And so right now, there is total chaos. Larry Krasner has got to go if he's not going to enforce the law. And so we have to be a Commonwealth of law and order. And my background is military police. And so I am very passionate about supporting our men and women in blue and our first responders.
So, what would you do as governor? Do you have any authority over the DA and that whack job DA you've got in Philadelphia? Any way to rein him in?
I'm assuming that I do. I haven't looked into the particulars, how you go about firing the guy, but oh my gosh, that would certainly Be wonderful, wouldn't it? I mean, and I can't imagine that that's not a 90-10 issue. I mean, parents want their kids to be able to go out and play without being worried that they're going to, be shot at. It's totally ridiculous, the crime. I mean, my sister came in for a conference. Gosh, this was a couple of years ago. Grew up in Pennsylvania, and she was in Philadelphia. And the first thing she did was call me and said, "What happened to Philadelphia?"
Right.
I mean, it's ridiculous. It's not safe. Things have to change, and we have to get back to law and order.
I mean, that's the first thing. Like you said, when I first asked the question, the first objective of the governor is to keep your streets safe, and that certainly is not happening. When you look at the Pennsylvania economy and the way it ranks, other than energy, what else do you see Pennsylvania being able to do in order to get the economy up?
So basically, we are not business friendly. So if you look at, this is going to sound crazy, but Indiana, Ohio, and West Virginia, they're going to outpace us as far as power generation by 2030. And that's because of policy, strictly policy. So right now we have a governor that says, "Oh, I'm an all of the above energy governor," but then he quietly subverts natural gas. So what does that mean? Investment doesn't come into the state. And you know what? We don't make it easy. I mean, look at Ohio, Jobs Ohio. It is so easy to start a business in Ohio. And we're going to be business friendly. We're going to deregulate. We're going to fix DEP. I mean, there is so much. There's workforce development. We're going to be 300,000 skilled labor jobs short within the next 5 years. So we have a lot of work to do, John. Honestly, this is an all hands on deck mission.
As governor, do you see a way over time, let's say you were there 2 terms, is there a way over time to eliminate the Pennsylvania income tax?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Look at the other states that have done it. I mean, we right now, just because we're spending $5 billion more than what we bring in, we can't do it right off the bat. Second term for sure. And then, corporate income tax, I would like to accelerate that as well. Another way to make, business, be a more business friendly state. And, we're the 12th highest regulated state in the nation. We have the 5th highest tax burden. And again, it doesn't have to be this way because we have the best, hardest working people. We should be the hub of global commerce. Think about it, where we're located, where we're situated. And again, natural resources, they are the envy of the world. And the fact that we're not, we're squandering our blessings is quite honestly criminal.
Well, I tell you what, as treasurer, you're in charge of the state's funding, so you know where every dollar goes, right? Every procurement, every requisition, it all ends up somehow in your purview. So if there's anybody that can find that, like I'm trying to figure out what on earth did he spend an extra $9 billion on? Like what?
$9 billion.
$9 billion. It's not. He didn't spend it on roads. What did he spend it
on? $1 billion is towards education. So we rank in the top 10 in the nation in spending, and our results are 39th. So the problem is when you're a career politician, you think to solve things, you just throw money at it. You throw money at everything and you think it's going to fix it. And that's not the way the real world works. So I say we have to bring common sense to the Commonwealth. Right. When you're in the private sector, every single year you have to find productivity of 3 to 5%. You just don't spend. Just like your household, you can only spend what you have. And to me, that's just common sense. And instead, what they've been doing is we had a surplus from federal COVID money. When I came in as treasurer, we had like $16 billion in surplus. Well, guess what? That game is over. That money's all gone by the end of this fiscal year. And so that's why next year we have a rainy day fund of about $7.6 billion. They're going to have to use a significant portion of it. So now we're going to use a rainy day fund to fund existing programs. And as you know, that rainy day fund you should save for when you have a rainy day, when you have an emergency, when you have an economic downturn, if you have something one time, but you don't use it to fund recurring programs. But I think, it's just fiscally so irresponsible. And that's one of the reasons, honestly, I decided to run. And I just, the decline. And I love Pennsylvania. And I really want to see us, turn our state around.
He doesn't know what he's dealing with here. Shapiro has no idea. You know what? They're going to spend all the money. They're going to do whatever they do. You are going to pull the upset and you are going to win this race. I have no doubt about it. That's why you led Pennsylvania. You got the most votes of a statewide candidate ever. It doesn't matter. Governor, attorney general, treasurer, got the most votes ever. You're going to do it again. You're going to win this governor's race. And we're going to be calling you Governor Stacey Garrity. I can't wait. And you're going to derail his whole presidential. He's gone. But when you beat him, what does he do? What? I lost? Now I can run for president early. Stacey, thanks for being with us. People want to follow you. Where do they go?
Oh, go to Garrity4PA.com. Please.
Garrity, this is going to be
Garrity4PA.com.
This is going to be the upset of November right here in Pennsylvania. Stacey Garrity. They have no idea what they're dealing with. Stacey, thanks for being with us. Lots of Georgia races. Peach Crew next.
There will be a runoff between Republican gubernatorial candidate Rick Jackson.
As governor, I'll be like Trump, but with a Southern tone.
And current Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones.
I could not leave this stage without thanking President Donald J. Trump for his undivided. He didn't just endorse me once, not twice, not three times, even a fourth time. I was so honored to have that.
And the winner of the GOP gubernatorial runoff will face former Atlanta Mayor Democrat Keisha Lance Bottoms in the general election. Perhaps the highest profile contest, a GOP House race in Kentucky. That's where the Trump-endorsed candidate Ed Galrine beat incumbent Republican Congressman Thomas Massie. There's a desperate struggle against wildfires raging in Southern California. 750 firefighters battling the Sandy Fire. It's burning in the hills above Simi Valley, northwest of L.A.
Firefighters were challenged initially by rapid fire growth in windy conditions. Sadly, we did have one home that we've confirmed has been destroyed. And while that is only one home, it is the home that belonged to the family that lived here for many years, and a tragic loss for that family.
Andrew Dowd with the Ventura County Fire Department. Thousands of homeowners are under evacuation orders. Crews are also fighting a 23-square-mile blaze on Santa Rosa Island. It's off the southern California coast. Lithuanian officials accuse Russia of hijacking and redirecting Ukrainian drones into its airspace to sow chaos and distract from Ukraine's military successes. On Wall Street, ahead of the opening bell, Dow futures 168 points higher, NASDAQ futures up 202 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
When I was feeling the stress of too much credit card debt, I looked at two different options: debt settlement and debt management. They may sound the same, but guess what? They're not. Debt settlement seemed like a quick fix, but I found out it would destroy my credit, create tax headaches, and hit me with huge fees. They actually told me to stop paying my bills. No way, not me. Then I turned to a debt management plan developed by the team at Trinity. They worked with my creditors, lowered my payments, reduced my interest, saved me thousands, and paid off my debt. And Trinity is a Christian company, which is important to me.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-990-6976.
The Democratic Republic of Congo is dealing with a deadly public health crisis.
The scale and speed of this Ebola outbreak is alarming health officials. It took weeks for the virus to be identified, and by then it had spread widely in an area beset by conflict, with many families displaced from their homes. Limited facilities to test for the virus are slowing the response. The WHO says it urgently needs more financial support to fight this outbreak.
And that's BBC's Fergus Walsh. Russian President Putin praises close ties with Chinese leader Xi and says their countries are close partners in trade and international affairs. This as they opened bilateral talks today on Putin's trip to Beijing. She welcomed Putin with a ceremony at the Great Hall of the People only days after meeting with President Trump in that very same venue. Townhall.com. Women's flag football is on track to gain NCAA championship status before the sport makes its Olympic debut.
The NCAA Committee on Access, Opportunity, and Impact voted Tuesday to recommend that Divisions 1, 2, and 3 add a National Collegiate Flag Football Championship as soon as the spring of 2028. It's a giant step toward NCAA championship inclusion for women's flag football. More than 100 schools have been planning to compete during the next academic year, according to the NCAA. A title game may even take place right before the sport makes its Olympic debut at the 2028 LA Games. I'm Gethin Coolball.
Single Gen Z women are outpacing the men of their generation when it comes to buying a home. They accounted for 35% of all home buyers in their generation, while single Gen Z men represented 18% according to the National Association of Realtors. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Kids, try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging calcium alpha-ketoglutarate, which has been clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Folks, this is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. I have recently turned 77 years old. I do not take prescription drugs. I have not had to take prescription drugs, and I attribute a lot of my good health to a product that I've been taking, which is the active ingredient in Sol Tea. It's a 22% concentration of theaflavin. We did clinical trials on it 25 years ago and found that it helped lower cholesterol. We have had many, many hundreds of letters and emails from customers telling us how it has helped them not only manage their cholesterol, but lower their triglycerides and help them on their blood pressure. And I can't tell you how much I attribute to Sol Tea for my good health at age 77. And I encourage you to go to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. And use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% off on your initial shipment of Sol Tea. And I promise you it will be a great help for your heart health. Thanks so much.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendment, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
How much did you win at Rosie's Gaming Emporium?
Hi, I'm Jerry from Richmond. I won a $23,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
I'm Tammy. I'm from Newport News, and I just won a $5,400 jackpot from Rosie's.
Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm from West Virginia, and I won $99,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
Are you ready? Learn more about Rosie's rewards and jackpots at rosiesgaming.com. Must be 18 or older. Problem gambling? Call 1-888-532-3500.
All right, folks, I need you to do something right now. Go to johnfredericksradio.com and take our brand new 2028 Republican presidential straw poll. Who do you want leading the ticket? Don't let the elites decide. Make your voice heard. While you're there, weigh in on two huge issues: eminent domain reform, and President Trump's tariff policies? Are they protecting American workers or hurting growth? This is your movement, your vote, your voice, your choice. Go to johnfredericksradio.com right now and take the poll.
John Frederick.
It is the most egregious thing I've seen in a lifetime.
President Trump.
The whole thing is ridiculous.
When politics start getting wild,
they want to have every single thing that you don't want. Raise taxes, men and women's sports. They're going to open up their border.
Trump hits the speed dial.
Thank you for calling in on such short notice.
You came first, John.
Wake up with the John Frederick Show weekday morning, 6 Eastern, 5 Central on JFMN.TV, the massive J-Fred radio network, and all across the socials.
You came first, John. Thank you very much, and you do a great job.
He's the voice of Virginia.
No, you can't. You have one of the worst voices I've ever heard in my life.
And the commander of common sense.
Fire at will, Commander.
Now back to the John Frederick Show.
Well, it's finally that day, the day after the big Georgia primary. There's a lot of runoffs coming up. Some of them are real shockers, and it's great to have you with us and great to have the Beach Crew and our special guest, Debbie Dooley. We're going to let her do a little victory dance, shock and awe, because her candidate, Derek Dooley, came from third place, like she predicted, late closer, to get in the runoff for U.S. Senate with Mike Collins, getting over 30% of the vote. Buddy Carter out 25%. Great guy, ran a really good campaign, but you're just tough to win when you're from Savannah. It's really tough to do. Sorry, Holly, but it's tough to win a statewide race when you're in South Georgia. You got 25%. But Raffensperger's out. The gubernatorial race, unbelievable. A lot of people thought, hey, Ricky Jackson might get over 50%. Might then be a runoff. Burt Jones beats him. He closes at the end. Ran all those negative ads. People say, oh, they don't like negative ads. They work. So got a barrage of them and slipped in the polls. And now Burt Jones comes in there. And for Lieutenant Governor Greg Dolezal, my guy, gets in a runoff. So I'm excited about that. Nothing against Senator Kennedy, but I love Greg. So all that coming up right here on the Peach Crew. What a day last night. What a night. And let's introduce our panel here. Nancy Babbitt is with us. Nancy, former general manager of the John Fredericks Media Network, also an executive in Forsyth County GOP. She was in there chapping asses. Good to have you back, Debbie. Nancy with us. We got a special guest here, Debbie Dooley. I had to get her in today because her two candidates did get in the runoff. So we'll give her a couple minutes so she can take a victory lap. Sally Gibbons. So, oh, by the way, you look fabulous, ladies. Both of you look super.
Thank you.
Let's get. Are you still doing, Debbie, that crazy diet thing you do, fasting or something?
Yeah, intermittent fasting. Yes, I fast for 18 hours a day, nothing but water.
What a miserable life. Okay, let's get to Sally Grubb. It's miserable. That's a wretched life. It's fast for 18 hours. I'm not doing that. Sally Grubb's with us. Sally, thanks for being with us. Sally, the vice chair of the Republican Party of Georgia, and in leadership there is Holly here. Who else is here? That's it. So we got
Sally.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
Holly should be on. Yeah,
there's Holly. Okay, Holly. Anybody else on? If you don't get them on, I don't know who they are.
Jackie's here.
Jackie's here.
CJ's on too.
All right, Jackie, CJ, we got quite the panel going on. Debbie's got to go, but Debbie, I had to invite you this morning. You got to be able to do your victory lap. I was doubting the whole Derek Dooley thing. I was a doubting Thomas. I didn't think he'd come in second. He did, and now you got a horse race in there.
Well, I can tell you, I predicted it, and I've been involved in politics for decades, and I can tell you one thing is true, is it doesn't matter, when I got started in 1976 or today, most voters do not make their minds up and really start paying attention until about 3 weeks out. And I mean, that's just the way it is. They don't start paying attention. That's why Team Dooley was, very smart in the way waiting until within that 3 week window before they started going ads, started doing tours. I fully predict that Derek Dooley will defeat Mike Collins in the runoff. Derek Dooley will defeat John Ossoff. He is the only one that can beat him.
How does Dooley beat Collins? And are you going to get the 25% of the Buddy Carter vote?
I would assume I'm leaving that up to the Dooley campaign to reach out to Buddy Carter. I think most of the vote, you got to look for all intents and purposes. Mike Collins has been the front runner since he got in the race. And the fact he never could close the deal is striking. I think Derek will beat him. You've got Brian Kemp and his machine totally backing Derek. And I talked to Governor Kemp last night at the victory party, and they getting ready to hit the road again. They're going to do another tour, Derek Dooley Team Kemp Tour 2, and go around the state. Brian Kemp's approval rating, according to recent polls, Brian Kemp's approval rating is 85% among Republicans and 42% among Democrats. He can attract swing voters. He can help the entire Republican ticket when he's campaigning for Derek Dooley. I think Derek is going to win it all. Everybody criticized him. Oh, he doesn't have a record. He hadn't voted. That's the worst.
All right. Well, look, I mean,
They can swing at it.
Collins got 40% of the vote, so that's nothing to sneeze at.
No.
I backed Dooley immediately, and then I didn't see anything. So we'll see what happens. If I was there, I'd vote for Dooley. So I get it, but we'll see what. And I don't doubt Brian Kemp. I said that from the beginning. I don't doubt him there, and he is popular. He's been a great governor, so it is what it is. All right, I want to get because I got to bring everybody else in and let you go. I want to get to the Burt Jones race. There were some people thinking Ricky Jackson would get over 50% and ruin out a runoff. He spent $80 million. He came in second to Burt Jones.
I know.
He was in the high 40s. He plummeted in the last 10 days. He just sank like an anvil in the southern pond. What the hell happened?
Just like you said, negative ads were Burt Jones ran a.
All right. Debbie's gone. Okay.
Well, we lost her, so I'll chime in here.
We'll give that Debbie's victory lap. See how gracious I am, right? I give Debbie time.
Okay.
Debbie's gone. Thank you, Debbie. All right, she's gone. We lost her. All right, let's get to Nancy Babbitt. We got to go over all these races, but Nancy, I was so excited. Everybody wrote Greg Dolezal off. They said his Sharia law ads, anti-Muslim ads backfired. He wasn't going to make the runoff. He didn't have enough money. And there he is in the runoff. And now I think he's going to win. Break that down for us for Lieutenant Governor Nancy Babbitt.
I'm not surprised knowing Greg Dolezal. He has worked really, really hard, and that hard work has paid off. And I think, he's up against a name, John Kennedy. And but I think when those other voters that voted for David Clark, especially, he had a really strong turnout. I think they're going to go for Greg Dolezal. I think a lot of the Steve Gooch voters will go for Dolezal. And, Blake Tillery didn't do as well as I thought a lot of people thought he would. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. And I'm kind of curious what Holly says about that with the Southern thing.
You just can't win, Holly, if you're in Savannah. By the way, I didn't see after the first two for Lieutenant Governor who was 3 and 4 in that race.
I think
David was 4th, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think so. I thought Blake came in late. Yeah.
David's at 15.79%. Blake was at 19.09%.
A lot of people thought Tillery was the favorite, and but Holly, here's the problem. I mean, we all love South Georgia, but you can't come out of there and you can never win a statewide primary. Just not enough voters.
No, I mean, it's tough. It's tough being down here in South Georgia, so I agree with you. You said that earlier, and it's on point. I too was shocked though that Blake did not, his numbers weren't a little bit higher. There were a few races that kind of surprised me yesterday, but I do like Dolezal. I'm very, very happy to see him get in. Hope he runs a good race. Well, I know he'll run a good race. We've seen him work hard already, so um, I'll definitely be pulling for him.
Don't discount John Kennedy, though.
No, I'm not discounting him.
I like John Kennedy a lot. So
yeah, and I really don't have an issue with him. I've done a couple of calls with him before in the past on on election stuff, and he did get on and he did listen. Now he didn't come out the gate and was strong on it, like some of the others were. So I'm not gonna say I don't like him. I'm just saying I do like Dolezal, and what I've seen. So
I think Dolezal wins this race. The guy came from nowhere, and everybody criticized those ads. His ads when he did those ads, he was in last place. Okay, everybody criticized him, and then he gets in the runoff. And again, he's from the northern suburbs. I think he's going to do very well. You just can't win when you're outside of the metro area. Sorry, you just can't win. Okay, let's get to the Secretary of State race and go to Sally.
Well, well, well. I am just so happy that we don't have to contend with Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger anymore, at least as far as Secretary of State. I am so excited that we don't have to contend with Gabe Sterling.
Yeah.
And, finally, after 8 years, John, if for no other reason, listen, we have cause for celebration here in Georgia. Our Court of Appeals and Supreme Court Justice Charlie Bethel and Justice Warren both won. Those are two individuals that the Democrats came after hard and heavy. And so we can celebrate that victory. We can celebrate the victory of Ding Dong, the witch is dead. When it comes to the Secretary of State's office on both counts. Now, my concern is what are they going to do after this, their term is up in January? That's something that's very concerning. We still have the special session that's coming up. Raffensperger will have heavy input into what happens with that. So that's very concerning. And I have to give a shout out. Senator Dolezal is supposed to join us this morning. I have to give him a very big shout out on standing with us with the state election board, with getting access into the election night reporting room that, he was bold and went in and filing a lawsuit to gain access to that. But at the end of the day, the judge ended up rescinding the order. But I have to thank him for being bold on that, and I know he will continue to make that stand.
That might have pulled him in the runoff because he was the only one that did that.
He was the only,
and they publicized it. I mean, it came across my feeds several times. Let's get to Jackie Harling. So, Jackie, the Secretary of State's race. I mean, everybody thought Gabe Sterling was going to be Raffensperger's guy. We all know Gabe went on the steps of the Capitol. Defended the 2020 election. Rad. Nobody could stand the guy, but everybody expected. He's probably going to be at least in the runoff. He didn't make the runoff.
I didn't think he was gonna, but just I got ahead of myself. Good morning, everybody. Woohoo!
Morning.
We had a good night's sleep, and I will say, Sally, you mentioned it. We held the line with our judges and Supreme Court justices, and that is such a burden off of my heart because we not only held the line, but we held it by big margins. And I just wanted to say, I believe the reason why is because the GOP, the Republican Party, we were allowed to unite in that because it was a nonpartisan situation. And the messaging came out hot and heavy from the state GOP, and everybody, from the county chairman to the district chairman, we all work together in that final push when people are receptive to, oh gosh, there's an election. I gotta learn this stuff. So I'm so relieved, y'all. I was worried and so worried about those races because, as we know, that affects us on a day-to-day basis more than people possibly imagine. So I'm so happy And all I can think about is what a relief that is. And I'm thankful for everybody. And congratulations to all the winners. And I am surprised, going back to the Secretary of State's race, I'm surprised Kelvin didn't get in the runoff. I
No,
thought he
because
would.
Vernon Jones is in the runoff. My
I
boy,
know,
man. Come
and
on.
congratulations.
Vernon
Congratulations.
Didn't Vernon make the runoff?
He did.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Vernon made the
Vernon
made the
made the
runoff.
Absolutely.
I
runoff.
was not surprised about Secretary of State.
What
I
CJ
was.
CJ
I
is
was
saying he
not
didn't.
either.
That's
What?
go ahead, Celestine.
Let me speak. Good morning, everyone.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I am so proud of Vernon Jones. I was on the telephone last night with him and his campaign manager. So we're ready to hit the ground running and bring that win on home to mama. Okay? So Vernon is a great candidate and he ran a great campaign. And so we're going to bring this win home. And so for Rick Jackson, the governor's race, I knew we were going into a runoff. I think Bert's campaign did an awesome job in bringing out information that caused doubt in the minds of a lot of the voters. And so when you see that here, but I think if Bert is here, she goes, he can bring this win on home. He can. And so congratulations to Mr. Strickland, the only one who doesn't have a runoff for the Attorney General's office.
That's a good choice.
And Mr. Greg Dolezal, congratulations to you. I met you
Thank
and you
you.
impressed me mightily. You have a powerful
Thank you. Good
presence.
morning, y'all.
Your messaging is spot on. Spot on. It's spot on. So I'm
Yeah,
very impressed with you. Bring that win on home.
John, I'm gonna have to leave now. I'm actually at the hotel where the campaign stayed, so I need to leave now for a meeting.
Well, thanks for being with us, Debbie. Thank you for your hard
Love you guys. Bye.
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 Vernon Jones is going to win this race. I have no doubt in my mind. Vernon Jones is going to be the nominee. He's going to be the Secretary of State.
Look,
And I tell you what, when that happens, we are going to laugh our ass off from here to the end of the earth that Vernon Jones, after all he's done, and with election integrity in 2020, and then I am going to go there for his inauguration when he's sworn in as Secretary of State. That is going to be the greatest day in the history of Georgia when that guy takes the reins. And you talk about cleaning up stuff, and he's going to beat Fleming. Look, we had John Fleming on the show. Nice guy.
Tim Fleming.
Whatever his name is. He didn't even know what the job was. Remember that? It was about the worst interview he had. Like, he couldn't even tell us what the purpose of the job is. Vernon
John,
Jones,
I'm confused. Tim Fleming is the only one of the Secretary of State candidates that did not show up for the debate with the Atlanta Press Club. I'm not understanding this.
Because he couldn't answer any questions. The guy didn't even know what the job was. To me, last night, and especially with me and Nancy Babbitt, who are big Vernon Jones. I've been with Vernon Jones for, 30 years. I go back, I was a child, it seems like. But Nancy, remember we were on the Vernon Jones for governor? It's just amazing what happened and that he could be Secretary of State. I mean, don't you find that to be just hilarious, Nancy Babbitt?
I love it. He's so personable. He's just a good person. You meet him and you just want to be his friend. And he is a good person. He has a good heart.
He's a great guy. And he's run for every conceivable office, sheriff. I don't know. He's run for so many things. I'm a great friend of Vernon. So
he's a hard worker.
He is. He'll work. And, he didn't raise any real money, but, he just gets out there and he works. And so he's going to be the Secretary of State. I'm so excited. All right, let's get to Greg Dolezal. Senator, thanks for being with us. You were my candidate to get in the runoff. And I told the panel last week, I said, if Dolezal gets in the runoff, he's lieutenant governor. Congratulations. All the criticism you got over that ad, and here you are.
Yeah, thank you, John. A lot of friends on this call, so thank you guys. Nancy, thank you for coming out last night to our watch event. Always good to see Forsyth County come through strong. I mean, we did really well. in a lot of areas of the state. But John, you're right. I mean, we got in this race and we started talking about saving Western civilization and boldly talked about the reality that we all know, which is that not all countries are created equal, that we have an insane immigration policy in America that does not benefit the American people, and that Sharia law has no place in the state of Georgia. And it wasn't just the Democrats that came out and criticized me; it was Republicans as well. And so, the base of this party is looking for the most conservative person. I think you're right in your assessment. We really like our chances going into June 16th.
Oh, you would hate to be running, Sally. You would. I just get into baseball, inside baseball. I would hate to be running the Kennedy campaign right now. I don't even know what the hell I would do, because this guy this guy's going to get an enormous turnout of the base, and like Kennedy, like, yeah, whatever, let's have a cup of coffee. It's too cold or something. I mean, it's just boring. You go up against Delasoul. This is Kennedy's worst possible scenario. I view. Now,
Yeah.
So, I want to publicly
I would
say,
agree with
Senator
Greg
Dolezal,
Dolezal. What was that?
I wanted
Go
to
ahead,
thank
Sally.
Senator Dolezal for what he said, for what he did in filing the action to get us access into the election night reporting room. It's staggering that there are things done behind closed doors with our votes and with our vote aggregation in the state of Georgia. So thank you for doing that. That was a bold stand. And that's still a fight because we have the runoff coming up and we need to be there for the runoff. So that's something that we need to continue fighting for. So thank you for doing that.
John, have you followed this at all? Do you know about the backstory here of this bunker?
I do, but our audience does not. So please elaborate.
So I found out, Sally's known this for a while, and the state election board has been working on this, but I just haven't been able to watch their meetings lately because I've been running a campaign. But essentially, the counties in Georgia all report their information to the state. The state reviews that information, ultimately publishes it to the website that we all see. And that middle process of the review and the uploading to the website is done in the election night reporting room that is colloquially called the bunker. And the state election board members, in the past, some of them have had access to this room. And so Sally and bipartisan members of the board wanted to get access to the bunker and were denied access by Raffensperger. I got a call from Debbie Fisher last Friday, and she said, would you be willing to join a lawsuit that we're working on to get bipartisan poll watchers and members of the state election board into the bunker to be able to watch the goings on? I said, absolutely. And so we had David Oles, an attorney, really did yeoman's work. We filed a suit on lose track of time here, on Sally, when did we file?
On Monday.
On Monday. And then we essentially had, we received a temporary restraining order on Tuesday morning to allow access to the bunker. And then sometime in the afternoon yesterday, the secretary's attorney ran into court, literally in jeans and a polo shirt, I'm told, stopped the proceedings of the case, pled his case to the judge, and the judge reversed his order and vacated that order. And so I think ultimately y'all were not allowed access to the bunker. Is that correct?
No, that's correct. And
Yeah.
it's like I said, Senator, we tried every which way. We asked nicely, to go. This is a headquarters where they have, like, it's the Georgia Emergency Management location where Georgia Power shows up. But then they also have vendors. And I don't know if you're fully aware, even this morning, that there were quite a few issues with poll pads, the check-in procedure across many counties. And of course, it happens to be Cobb County, Gwinnett County, DeKalb County, Fulton County. And then we had the one precinct that, had the gunman running around, and that was just a whole mess last night. But it's imperative that we have the ability to watch from beginning to end transparently for the citizens of Georgia in a bipartisan way. So, it's a very secretive process. And so I'm looking forward to the hearing on May 28th.
Greg,
Yeah, so
why do they do that? Why do they make it where we can't see what's going on?
You got me. Like I said, John, if you have nothing to hide, you hide nothing. And so if, we've heard for years how the secretary said, cleanest elections in the country, most transparent elections, but you can't come in here. So if it was great, why wouldn't you say, hey guys, come on in, let's show you how transparent things are, let's show you how it works, but it's one of those things where there's something rotten in Denmark.
Crazy. I mean, Greg, why did you have to go through all this just to get transparency there?
Yeah, it's crazy, John. I don't know the answer to that. There's a section, the code section where we discuss elections in Georgia, section 406 of that says that all processes of the election shall be conducted in public, and they are until things get to the bunker. And then once the bunker happens, that's a closed process, and then everything else after it in the certification process is public as well, with bipartisan trained poll observers. And so it's just, I can't explain it. The secretary takes these odd positions where he digs in on things that seem unnecessary for him to dig in on. Why he cares if Sally's in the room watching. I mean, she is a duly appointed member of the state election board. It should just be an easy, yes, ma'am, there's nothing to hide. You can come and watch anything. And hopefully find some ways that we can improve the process. That should be the posture, but it's not the posture.
Greg, how do you win this? You got 3 weeks. How do you win this race to become the lieutenant governor nominee?
Yeah, we build a coalition of conservatives. I think that you had a lot of people that voted for other conservative guys and gals that were running. So you go to the Steve Gooch voters. Steve Gooch is a conservative member of the state Senate. We voted the same way a lot. David Clark, another guy, was a founding member with me of the Georgia Freedom Caucus. Blake Tillery, conservative guy down in Vidalia. You go to those voters and you say you voted for who you thought was the most conservative. Now you've got two choices. And of your two choices, I'm very clearly the most conservative. And I think that those voters will come our way in spades.
I think you're right. Greg, I want to thank you. Thank you for being with us. I know you're short on time. You got to put your next 3 week phase, your campaign together. Congratulations on getting in the runoff. We predicted you'd get in the runoff. And as I told you, I think it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago, you get in the runoff, you'll be lieutenant governor. And I think that is going to play out. Well,
thank you, guys.
God's ears. Thank you, Greg.
Thank y'all. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye, Greg.
See you guys.
Here's the other person on the panel that swept the board as they speak, Nancy Babbitt. Every person she voted for got in the runoff. So, Nancy, you're like 10 for 10 or something. But so good job there.
But my local guy lost.
Yeah.
He lost bigly to Big Mike. John, it's sad.
Big Mike?
Dudgeon.
Yep. Carter Patterson lost to Big Mike Dudgeon. Bigly, we lost.
I thought
it's 10,000 to 4,400.
I thought we liked Big Mike.
Well, I like Big Mike. He's a good person. Carter was my guy. I've known him like 10 years, so he's a friend. So it's sad that he lost, but Mike's good. I'm happy.
Mike will be good. I think he's going to be good. All right. Well, I'm sorry, Jackie. All your Southern candidates got beat. What's the deal going on?
Well, I will say congratulations to Congressman Clay Fuller. He does not. Congratulations. You don't have to do another election until November. Woohoo! I know his wife was very, very relieved because when you went and when you looked at the ballot, there was no little I by his name. So he wasn't listed as the incumbent on the race. Mm-hmm. So when I saw that, I thought that was interesting. I think the timing of the runoff of the special election made that be the case. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think he got like around 83%. So I just wanted to plug our congressman and say congratulations. I know a lot of people are really tired today. But then, of course, maybe rest for 24 hours. I bet they're not resting for 24 hours. But we got to gear up for the runoff.
Jackie, I have to throw in here and say that I did work with Congressman Clay Fuller this week, also on this bunker issue, as far as getting congressional observers. And he was a dream to work with. He was just fantastic.
Yes, I was. I knew
really
that.
like him.
I was aware of that, and I was very proud. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to, when we elect when we elect folks to these races, we want them to stand up and make their voices heard and use the influence that they have to help us. And I was really glad to see that. And I
Yeah, he was
appreciate you saying
awesome.
that.
Yeah, he was awesome. And you know what, John? The big shocker is Dr. John Callan in the 11th. I mean, he trounced Trisha Pridemore. I was very shocked about that in the 11th district. And he doesn't even live in the 11th district. He lives in the 14th.
So who's in that runoff?
Dr. John Callan and Rob Adkerson. Rob Adkerson was chief of staff to Barry Loudermilk.
Right. And did Ackerson get more votes?
Callan got more votes.
So Callan likely to win that race, you think? You think it'll be Ackerson?
I really don't know. I really do not know on that one because I was shocked at the number of votes that Callan got.
I was too. Astounded.
Tricia was never going to get in that runoff based on her votes on the Public Service Commission and allowing Georgia Power to raise her rates. I mean, it is what it is. She took tough votes, but I wouldn't have voted for her either. And I like her. It's just like, you gotta live by the votes you take and the positions you take. I want to get to Holly. Holly, everybody was telling me that we were going to lose these judges in Georgia because of the early voting of the Democrats. They were up by like 150,000. I think somebody sent that to me, Debbie Dooley or Nancy Babbitt, on Monday, saying that, oh my God, we're going to get beat in these seats. And then I called Beth Beskin up, who, as you know, is a friend of mine that ran for that in a prior thing, got 48% of the vote. She said they were in trouble. How'd they turn the corner? How do we save those seats?
Well, I think it's Republicans turn out on election day, and that's pretty standard for us. So it was a little bit scary though, seeing the numbers. So there was a massive push, over the weekend and going into, the primary actual election day, but Republican voters typically turn out. So I was a little bit nervous, but I honestly wasn't that nervous. I was all on board to help us out and, maybe reminding people about the, those races in particular, because they are so important. But I think I might have lost reconnection. I'm not sure.
No, we got you. We're good.
And I was shocked that we won that. I think Jackie's right. We did a big push through GOP at the end, but what the elephant in the room is for the race for governor, Democrats had 665,000 votes. There's Vernon. I'll come back to my statistics in a minute. Let's get to Vernon. Hey, congratulations.
Hey, guys. Can you see me? I'm outside. I had to step outside of the building. You can't? Okay. Okay, good. You do or you don't?
Yes,
we
do.
See
you. Good. So listen, first of all, I just want to say hello to everybody and thank everybody, and I appreciate the John Fredericks radio or TV show, where radio, TV, everything, and all you guys who are on there who are the special guests and host and co-host. A lot of people heard about our campaign through y'all's your platform there, and John, I really appreciate it. We are doing everything we can now to make sure our voters come back and vote for the runoff. Obviously, our message and hard work paid off. Election integrity, removing the red tape as it relates to the Secretary of State's office, deal with professional license. And you guys know me, I work hard. I went all over this state, going from place to place, county to county, where there were 2 people, where there were 200 people. We didn't care. We were just running our campaign. We got in last. We raised the least amount of money, but it just shows what we did with hard work. But again, our message going forward is we're going to make sure that we let the voters know that I'm the only candidate that has no connections to the Secretary of State's office. So that's how you can bring true reform by someone coming in from the outside with fresh ideas, innovative ways of doing things, and making sure that we protect election integrity. And it's going to be an open book. And I regret what happened to Sally and some of the other board members, where they were not allowed to come in and be able to observe in the bunker with Secretary of State. For whatever reason it was, it should be an open government. And that just shouldn't be tolerated. So we're going to address issues like that. And Sally, to you, I'm sorry to you that happened to you and the board members. It shouldn't have happened.
Thank you, Vernon. I appreciate that so much. Hey, listen, I'm curious. Do you have any explanation? I'm not picking candidates publicly or anything like that, but I'm
Sure.
confused with Tim Fleming being the only one who didn't show up for the debate. How do you explain this?
Well, let's think about this. His name was the first name on the ballot. There was a lot of candidates running, from governor, lieutenant governor, U.S. Senate, all of those other amendments on the ballot. And people have a proclivity, and many times, of just going to first person on the ballot. I always said the first person on the ballot get anywhere between 6 and 10%. But that doesn't discredit him as a candidate. You're right; he did not appear there. But you know what? That's something that we don't think about at all. We know one thing: those voters, when they went to Vernon Jones' name, they came down past his name and came to Vernon Jones. We know that I didn't have the establishment behind me. We know that I didn't have the most money. We know that I didn't have all the endorsements. It was just sheer raw hard work, working with voters. And I can tell you right now, we're in a great position to win this election. And I think everyone knows that I am the only American first candidate. I'm the only one that stood shoulder to shoulder with President Trump from the very first day with Stop the Steal all the way to January 6th in Washington, D.C., even to now. I never cut and ran on the president. And when this thing shakes out, now that just the two of us, we'll be able to examine both records and we'll be able to take our message to the people. I think the choice is clear that people will see that Vernon Jones is a fighter, a show horse, not a workhorse. I'm sure say a workhorse, not a show horse. Let me be clear. I'm tired, y'all. I haven't gone to sleep at night. I haven't gone to sleep. I'm tired. I haven't gone to sleep. I'm sorry.
We love your energy. Okay, I gotta pop this to Nancy Babbitt right on air. Sorry to do this to you, Nancy. We have got to do a bus tour for Vernon Jones. I don't care how we do it. We got to get it done, and you've got to be there.
Oh, it'd be fun. Yeah, I'm in for sure. Beach cruise there, right, girls?
Well, John, we have a big 250th anniversary party that is.
CJ's in.
I'm in. Let me tell you something. Anytime I can join the Peach Girls, I call the Peach Girls, and John Frederick, I'm on board. Thank you, Nancy. Let's do it. Let me tell you, John, it's so important that you mention that. We have to do old-fashioned campaigning. Yes, we have social media, but people want to see the candidates.
Yeah.
I was going to little small towns where everybody knew who chick was good and who husband wasn't. They were glad to see me. And so, yes, we need to go on tour. Like I said, whether it's 2 people or 200 people, they need to know that we are hungry for their vote. Plus, we are energizing our base, John. We are getting people involved in this race. This is going to be a critical race. You know it, I know it. And I believe the president's going to be coming back to Georgia, too. I believe during this runoff. I hope he comes. And, let's do that bus tour. And let's keep it going right on into November where we win this election across the state.
We got to do a bus tour. I'm telling you, your election to Secretary of State in Georgia, after all we've gone through and all they went through yesterday with Sally, just trying to watch votes, is going to be the biggest thing. It's going to be the biggest thing in this runoff is if you get in there. And if you're Secretary of State, you can be the leader in the country on how to transform this stuff, clean up these voter rolls, and give people on our side the confidence that there's a way forward to get a fair election.
John, clearly, that's why I think you and I both know, and Georgians know, we need a reformer in that office. I am a reformer. But John, I tell you something that's really important to all of you guys on there. Look, we have lost 4 statewide constitutional offices in the past election cycle. 4. We cannot afford to do that. What my campaign represents is being able to go into paint in the Democrat vote, get their conservative Democrats, get their moderate Democrats, get the independents. Because if we don't, John, the way things are going on now, you've seen a lot of folks moving in from California and New York, leaving crime, leaving high taxes, but they come here and they're voting for the same people that got them in that kind of situation. I represent the new day for Republicans going into our general election in terms of bringing in more voters, growing our base, getting people who are sick and tired of the Democrat Party. And John, let's be honest. Let's call it what it is. You're seeing now for the first time, probably in 60 years, African Americans going in the other direction now, where they're sick and tired of that Democrat Party. They always want their vote, but they don't deliver. John, they know that I can deliver. You know I can deliver. Republicans know I can deliver. And that Secretary of State's office, more than just, John, over elections, but you talk about those professional boards. And I don't care what color, what shape, what size, what party you're in, you have to deal with that board. And people want to see their government works. And when they see a candidate working, they would be supportive. They see a Secretary of State working on their behalf, they would be supportive. This is what help breaks the gridlock too on that Democrat base. Look at what Keisha did. A lot of Democrats came out and voted for her. But you know what? A lot of her votes, I can steal a lot of those votes. I can steal a lot of those votes from the Democrats, period. And that's why the liberals are so afraid of me, that my influence, I don't fit the normal model. You know, I'm conservative, I'm African American, I've been a chief executive, I've run a government, I've also been in the legislature, 12 years seasoned legislator, I've been a small business person, John, I've been grassroots, and that's what scares them. And I don't have to change my message, change my tone, change my stripes. I can go in the heart of the Democrat base and pull votes.
That's why you're going to win. That's why you're going to be the next Secretary of State of Georgia. But the first thing we got to do is get you to be the Republican nominee. And I guess we can do that by trying to figure out why Senator Fleming didn't show up at the debate. I mean, what is that about, Babbitt? I mean, how do you not come to a debate?
He's done nothing. Yeah. Don't even get me started on him and the hokey blue committee thing and all that. It's
All right,
just
well, tell your husband, Craig, we love him, but we're taking you out of retirement for a week. You gotta run the bus tour. I can't.
We love Craig. We got to come out of
I
retirement.
can get down there, but I can't run the thing. I have no ability to run the thing. As you've
I'll drive it,
experienced.
John. I'll drive the bus.
No, we got Larry. We got a driver. We're good. I just can't manage it. So, Nancy,
Road trip.
Nancy, and I can't get Debbie because she's with Burt Jones. So, Nancy, you managed these things before. You come down and figure it out, right?
we'll talk.
Uh-oh.
I thought that was
Nancy,
a yes. Come on, Nance. It's only a week. Jones says do it. We got to cut Vernon here. Okay.
Yeah.
One of these other races. Boy, that's exciting, man. We got Vernon in there. We got Dolezal in there. And Nancy, let me ask you this. How did Burt Jones beat Ricky Jackson? He was like ahead. And then he got beat by 4, right? What was it? 36?
10.
How many? 36, 32?
I'll get you the numbers here, John.
Something like that.
Go ahead.
36, 32, Burt, right? 25, Buddy. I think that was it.
38.4 and 32.5 for Rick. 32.5
by
for Rick. 38.4 for Burt.
I mean, Nancy, $80 million and you get 32% of the vote?
I mean, you know, that's one thing that we've talked about in the GOP is to spend over $70 million to get 32.5% of the vote compared to Burt at 38.36% of the vote. I mean, that's a pretty significant difference. I mean, you know, Burt and the one thing that's very interesting, John, is the poly markets. The poly markets were heavily betting on Burt Jones. I mean, he was very clearly the front runner in the last few days. That was pretty staggering to watch.
I think the shine came off Rick Jackson. I think people, you meet Vernon out or you meet Burt Jones out, they shake your hand. They're normal people. Rick Jackson's kind of like Weekend at Bernie's. I don't know how else to say it. There's not much behind the facade. He uses index cards to tell his life story on a podium to give a speech. Yeah. I mean, it's just he's very odd, and he doesn't think fast on his feet. And I just think a lot of these people think voters are stupid, and sometimes they are. They believe the ads and they believe all the stuff that's out there. And goodness knows, all our mailboxes were filled up by Rick Jackson with books of stuff. And voters can see through that. I think the gut feeling on him is, either you loved him or you don't. But apparently, a lot of people liked Burt a lot better.
Well, don't you think, Sally, this puts Burt Jones, and I know you can't take a position, doesn't this put Burt Jones in a catbird seat here?
I think it does. I think Burt needs to continue what he's doing. I think, always my issue is signs. You can tell, behind me, I'm always a sign person. You got to get signs out on the roads and show the support. But I think that, as Nancy said, Burt Jones is a very genuine person. And plus, if you look over one of the things about Senator Dolezal is he has a consistent conservative voting record. When the Freedom Caucus put out their rankings in the Senate, you can see where the Senate moved more conservatively over the last 3 or 4 years under the tenure in the leadership of Burt Jones. It moved to a more conservative posture for all the Senate. You can go down the list and see the changes in the movement towards more conservative voting records for all the senators. Not one of them varied. And so, kudos to Senator Dolezal for being one of those top level conservatives. So Bert has shown leadership. He's shown that he can do the job, and he's shown that he can navigate things in a bipartisan way. No one knows any of that with Rick Jackson. Plus, his story is touching, but how far can a sob story take you? And everybody has baggage, everybody has a history. Does that make you qualified? And that is the question.
Okay, let's get to CJ. Who's going to win this runoff, Miss James?
Listen, let me say this first. I think that it hurt Rick Jackson when it came out about the campaign donations. That really mattered to a lot of people, and so across the state of Georgia, that's what a lot of people were talking about, those campaign donations to Biden and to others. And so for me, and I want to say, Nancy, our backyard last week of Jackson, Butts County. And so there are very passionate about Burt Jones and his family. Mike Collins met the pastor. Shout out to Sean Kelby. He's one of the assistant pastors there at Burt's Church. And so the overwhelming love for these two candidates and that support. Rick Jackson has a lot of questions to answer, and he's got to do away with the sob story and give concrete answers to what he's going to do for the people of Georgia and how to bring that about. And so he has an uphill battle because he is.
Who's going to win?
I'm still excited. Who is going to win? I think Burt will take it.
Nancy Babbitt?
Burt Jones.
Grubbs?
Burt Jones.
I think the lieutenant governor will pull it out.
Jackie? Mike's off.
I agree. Sorry.
Burt Jones. I think Burt Jones wins. I think, who was it that said the shine came off the apple? Who said that? Somebody whoever.
I don't remember, but I do think I try to look at the Romans 8:28 version of everything, and I think Rick Jackson being in this campaign has been a good thing. I do.
Yes.
I think it's brought the best out in Burt. I think it's put a fire under his butt, and I don't ever think that's a bad thing. And I would like to also say that we in the GOP and in general, we need to be cognizant of all the good people that work for these campaigns. Just because somebody works for an opponent of who you're supporting doesn't mean they deserve your hate or your animosity.
Right. Look, we're all going to come together. I love.
I've seen a lot of that, and I don't like it. And
I agree.
We need to be grown ups.
It's in the heat of battle, people get upset, but I think you're right. I think whatever happens with Jackson, I think it was good that he got in the race because it did put a lot of fire under Burt in his campaign, and I think they needed that, and it brought people out. So I think that's good. Let's get to the U.S. Senate race. Buddy Carter out. Derek Dooley late close. Got Kemp behind him, but Collins got 40% of the vote, so I got over that 35% hump. But this thing is not. This thing is going to be a bloodbath. I mean, Collins is going to fight hard. And Dooley's got a lot of money that they've saved, that is ready to go, and they've got a governor behind him that, whether you like him or not, the guy's at 85% approval rating with Republicans there. Who's going to win that? Yeah. Nancy Babbitt.
Phew. I don't know. I was thinking Mike Collins, but Derek Dooley's coming up strong. I think it's a toss-up at this point.
Grubbs?
I think I think you've got Buddy Carter at 25.11% on the returns last night. I think a significant indicator is going to be where those voters go and what Buddy Carter does. Is Buddy Carter going to endorse Dooley? Is he going to endorse Collins, or is he going to stay out of it? And I
What do you
think
think he'll do?
my gut is telling me Buddy Carter is going to endorse Dooley.
That's what I think. Jackie?
I kind of have that feeling too. Obviously, there's too many unknowns, but if that is what plays out, I think that Mike's got a real battle on his hands. And we have to just be careful because Debbie Dooley's not going to be able to get through the doorways because her
DJ?
head's going to be so big from
She's
being
gonna win
right
him.
about him.
She's going to win them both. CJ, who's going to be the Senate nominee? Dooley or Collins? And I'll take that as you don't know. All right. I'm going to predict Derek Dooley. Derek Dooley's going to win this nomination. I bet against Kemp once. I got my butt kicked. Not doing it again. I'm going with the governor. I think it's going to be Derek Dooley. I think it's going to be Vernon Jones, Greg Dolezal, and Burt Jones. What a fun show this was. All this winning. Oh, can't we? It's going to be so much fun. Guys, thanks for being with us. Nancy Babbitt, Sally Grubbs, Celestine James. And, we want to thank Holly for being with us earlier, and Jackie for being with us as well. Scary Jackie, not so scary anymore now that our candidates are winning. And to Senator Fleming, got to show up at a debate, dude.
Representative, not a
Whatever.
senator.
Whatever you are, you got to show up at a debate. Soon you're going to be out of politics